What's up? What's up, Danksters? I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I'm like 50%. I figured let's have a little fun today. Sunday, fun day. Still under the weather. I got the lights low, keeping it chill, but we got the on air. We're aired up. We're aired up back here. What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. I did recorded a show with Elizabeth Lane yesterday, Brandy. Um, That'll be coming out on Elizabeth Lane's channel, and hopefully I'll make some clicks. You guys can check it out. But yeah, still under the weather, but wanted to come around. I'm feeling a lot better. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if I got COVID or whatever they call it these days. I think I just got a little bit of a sickness. I had a fever for like 2 days, and it broke, but I'm congested. But I feel fine, for the most part. I got a headache. It's good to be here. Thanks for those in the chat asking how I'm doing. Um, but yeah, so something interesting transpired over the last few days. Tucker Carlson got called out by Patrick Bet-David, and we're gonna go over that. We're gonna show some of this. We're gonna discuss it. I'll play the whole clip and we'll stop and talk about it. Jesse on Fire gave a really great take that I quote posted on X that we'll cover as well. So explain the poll. Yeah, so essentially what happened was Patrick Bet-David felt called out or targeted by Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, you're going to see in this video clip when I play it, basically saying that PBD is an Israel shill. And a lot of people have been saying different things about both creators. I guess you could say they're creators, podcasters, what have you. PBD responded, shot out a intense response video. Put a 1 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't know what I'm talking about. Or 2 or a 0, whatever you heard for 0, probably. I'd have no idea. 0 for 0. It's just 0. I got you, my boy. Let me know. It's the discussion of the day. I'm separating from the Tyler Robinson stuff for today. I've just been so entrenched in it, and I needed something more light, chill to kind of cover. I'll talk about this drama, you know what I mean? So we're going to get into that. Welcome. Smash that like button on your way in. 1, if you know what I'm talking about. Tucker Carlson being called out by PBD. 2, if you don't. If you've never heard of this, if it's the first time, 2 or a 0, 20, whatever. If you've never heard of what I'm talking about and what I'm going to show you today, which is PBD said, Tucker, everyone's calling you a Qatari shill. So why don't we open up all of our bank accounts, our businesses, our wives' bank accounts, and let's show the world. We'll do an escrow. It'll cost $500,000. That's nothing for me. I'll throw in the money. Will you do it? I don't know if you will. It's kind of personal. Oh, man, this is a classic. You've got to see this. If you haven't seen it, you're going to laugh. You're going to be like shocked probably. I was like, damn. And look, I'll be honest. I've been watching PBD for at least 10 years since he made the video about doubling your money. If you haven't seen that video, look up PBD double your money. It's like a decade old. And I didn't know YouTube and content and all that shit back then. But I found him interesting because I'm Iranian. He's Iranian. My dad sent me the video a long time ago when I was like on drugs, like hanging out, partying and shit. My dad's like, here's how to double your money. I'm like, Dad, I know how to double my money. Like I sell, I sell weed, bro. Like this is way back in the day. I mean, I was selling weed a lot longer than that, but it was funny. But ever since then, I was interested in his work. And I've watched him progress, change, grow. I don't know what if it's growing or whatnot. Definitely growing. And it's just interesting. It's interesting because he likes to swing his big ball sack around. Yo, Tucker, you're gonna see in this video. He said, I offered you $100 million when you got fired from Fox News because I believe in what you do and blah da 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 da. So go ahead, smash that like button, share the show, subscribe for your boy if you haven't already. Become a member for just 99 cents every Friday. We do a members only live stream. You can come kick it with the Danksters. and we do all kinds of fun stuff. A lot of religious talk, a lot of spiritual stuff, a lot of conspiracy stuff. Get your tinfoil Speedo crumpled up, uncrumple that junk, bring it out of the out of the drawer. Today, my personality's all over the place. I really don't give a two F's right now. I'm just here to say what's up to everybody and share some of the internet drama because it's all I'm business, but I like to have fun too, right? So drop a dub in the chat, a W if you're here to have a good time. Put a C in the chat if you went to church. Let's go ahead and pull this first clip up. Let me bust this sucker out right here. So this is the clip. All right, so this is the one here. Let me remove my boom, boom, boom. Welcome to Love Jesus 19675. Bro, imagine being in the year 19,675. Welcome, Dankster. You made it to the dark side or to the light side. Mike Burdett, welcome to the crew. Friday members only live streams. Well, I got to tell you, you're in for a treat. So let's go ahead and get this jaunt popping. Do we want to go big or small? I don't know. We'll go this way for now. And we're going to play here. Let me, let's go ahead and, well, hold on one second. There is something I want to say. I wonder if I should show the X clip first, the X post from Jesse. I might pull that up first. And it's going to give you an interesting context. I was thinking about showing it after, but let's show the post Jesse made, and then I quote posted it. So here. So basically, Nick Matau post, PBD just challenged Tucker Carlson to show each other's finances. It's a much more invasive than that. It's all of their businesses and their wives' accounts and business accounts. Will Tucker Carlson accept because PBD says he's comfortable and has nothing to hide? Can Tucker Carlson say the same? So before we get into it, I'll show you what Jesse on Fire had to say and what I had to say. So Jesse says, this is manipulative propaganda aimed at fooling financially inexperienced people that Tucker Carlson is corrupt. Anyone who built wealth without a W-2 knows money comes in from all over the place into different entities, accounts, assets, etc. How would either party know whether the finances the other party produced represented 100% of their holdings or sources of income? So what he's saying is, even if they were to produce, like imagine you and I we open our business accounts and we show our bank accounts, our family accounts. The thing is, you don't know the person, say like, hypothetically, you're getting paid by Salem Media, right? And I'm trying to figure out, like, is the money coming from Israel or is the money coming? Well, if it's a check from Salem Media, how does anybody know that, right? So he raises a really good point. It's really not easy to tell. Now, Tucker, okay, Patrick, here are my finances. Shows a single Edward Jones investment account statement with 38 mil in it. That is funny. That's Jesse with his personality. PBD, Tucker, this is a financial management statement. Who paid you this money and when? Where are your real estate holdings? You and I both know you have money in other places, and I can only imagine why you would only produce this one statement. Who's been paying you, Tucker? I'm just asking questions. Take note how fast they will start just asking questions when it suits their ends, even after chastising their enemies for the same thing 100 times a day. So that was a hot take. And then I reposted it. I just said the ask itself is the attack. Nobody's net worth lives in one account. And maybe I should have rephrased it better. I was like late. I was tired. I wasn't feeling that great. It was almost 1 a.m. But they're down to look at all these other accounts, I think, from how I understand it. So you'll get to see in this video. He's counting on an audience that's never filed a Schedule C. So if you're not a business owner, and you don't know how this stuff works, dude, money is really hard to trace, even if it's from a foreign operative or foreign agent or government or It's not like, oh, shows up in your bank account, Qatar, $5 million. Like, it doesn't work like that. It's like money washes hands and moves so much. It's just one of those things. It's really hard to track, but not defending or saying that it can't be, but I am saying it's not easy for sure. But join the Patreon if you want to join the research. It's $5 a month, and you get access to the Discord. We're going to be moving over to a new site called clubvatra.com. It's not fully live yet, but we are going to be moving our paid subscribers over there. There's a really great business opportunity that I couldn't say no to. So look out for clubvatra.com. You can actually check it out now. Well, I'd encourage nobody not even to go over there yet, but we'll get over there soon. Anyways, let's go ahead and roll the clip and put a fire emoji in the chat if you are ready to light this sucker up, because I am very interested to see what the chat has to say. And yeah, here we go.
David on his podcast a day. Here's Patrick Bet David on his podcast a day or two ago. Watch this.
I don't know why Catholics, have this issue with Jews. I don't know what it is. They have this.
You don't know, bro. You don't know. The Jews think Jesus is boiling shit. You know that, right, bro? People either they don't know or they purposefully hold back. That's for another topic.
No, I don't listen. I get the Jews have issues with Christians, and they'll make fun and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, your Jesus is gonna do." They'll say, "Well, he was a Jew anyways, right?" Yeah. But then Catholics have that issue with Jews, and they act like they're all innocent and everything. And when you look at Catholics, the amount of centralized power they have, centralized. If you know what the total Catholic population is worldwide, it's like 1.213 billion. Jews are 15 million.
15 million.
But Jews are decentralized, meaning Jews don't have somebody they listen to that says, "Hey, you better do this." Catholics, God forbid you say something about the Pope. They're like, "Hey, man, listen, who is that Pope figure in the Christian community? We don't have one." No. If I ask you right now, who's the Pope in the Christian community, you don't have somebody to look at. Who is a witch pastor?
Yeah, exactly. No, they don't.
We don't have one.
It's an independent network.
It's just the Bible.
So if you look at only Catholics and Muslims have somebody that they look at as their supreme leader. Like, you got to go to somebody. But even more, it's Catholic.
Well, there's only two theocracies in the world:
Catholicism,
Islam. I'm sorry, the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Yep.
And the Vatican.
Yeah.
Those are the two major theocracies.
So actually, the Vatican is very much like the Nazi Iranian government, the theocratic government, the mullahs. It's all basically the same. They've got the complicated dress. They hate the Jews, as Patrick Bet David just said. Catholics have a problem with the Jews.
Now, this is on PBD's. This is on PBD's channel, Valuetainment. So he's clipping and talking, and so he then responds. So these are clips from different shows, and then PBD responds.
It's slander. It's an attack on the world's largest and oldest Christian denomination, and it's taking place openly. And it's all coming from the same source, which is Israel. The issue is Israel. Anyone who supports the Netanyahu government, not Israel as a concept, not all Jews, no, the Netanyahu government, anyone who ratifies every decision, no matter how violent or grotesque or genocidal of the Netanyahu government, those are the good people. And anyone who doesn't is a Nazi. And by the way, their religion itself is a Nazi religion.
Now, I do want to come back here and just listen to what he says here.
Listen, I get the Jews have issues with Christians, and they'll make fun, and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, your Jesus is going to do," they'll say, "Well, he was a Jew anyways," right? Yeah. But then Catholics have that issue with Jews, and they act like, they're all innocent and everything. And when you look at Catholics, the amount of centralized power they have, centralized. If you know what the total Catholic population is worldwide, it's like 1.213 billion.
Mhm.
Jews are 15 million.
15 million.
But Jews are decentralized, meaning Jews don't have somebody they listen to that says, hey, you better do this. Catholics, God forbid you say something about the Pope. They're like, hey, man, listen, who is that Pope figure in the Christian community? We don't have one.
I mean, I think it's interesting what he's saying here. But, I will say real quick that PBD calls himself a non-denominational Christian. I mean, here, he gets into it a little bit right here.
By the way, their religion itself is a Nazi religion. It's an inherently anti-Semitic religion.
So, Tucker, it's interesting. I watched this video a few times, and respectfully, I want to respond to you because you're a formidable voice. Whether I agree with you or not, you're somebody that's very good at getting your message out there. And I think at this point, if there's anybody that believes in your ability, it's a guy like this who, after I sold my company, offered you $100 million contract. I even went on your friend Megyn Kelly's show when I announced it, and she was asking specific questions. I said, yep, we went to your house, we made the offer, then we spent some time together. I came to Maine and we did your show, and we've had a couple good conversations together.
Well, he ends up going in and saying, PBD says, I'm a non-denominational Christian, while attacking, he says this, but he's attacking the oldest Christian denomination on the planet for its relationship with Jews. And I'll translate the non-denominational thing for you in 2026 American politics, right? It means Kufi adjacent, all right? That's what it means. It means Haji style, Haji, whatever. It means Israel first evangelicalism that treats the state of Israel as a theological requirement, and every other Christian tradition is optional. That's what when I see him say that, I think, I don't know. I don't want to call him a Zionist because I'm not sure yet. I think that he might just be a believer. But PBD just told you his denomination without saying the name. He's not attacking Catholics because he's Christian. He's attacking Catholics because they're the last major Christian institution that won't bow to Israel as a core tenet of faith. And Tucker spent the rest of his video explaining exactly why that matters. And we'll get into that. But he also throws out this $100 million contract that PBD loves to bring up every time Tucker's name comes in the room. He brought up Megyn Kelly. He brings it up on his show. He's bringing it up right here in his response video as if it's a credential, which I find very interesting. And here's the question that nobody's asked is, where's the contract, bro? Where's the term sheets? Why don't you show something instead of just talk? Where's the signed letter of intent? Where's any third-party document that confirms $100 million was ever actually existing on the table? Because the same guy who's about to demand that Tucker Carlson hire 3 accounting firms to audit his wife's bank accounts has never once produced a single piece of paper to offer that shows his offer he constantly brags about that it ever existed. PBD wants Tucker audited by KPMG, PwC, I think Baker Tilly. Patrick, pull up the contract, bro. All right. 1 PDF. That's it. You talk about it. You say 100 million here and there. Come on, bro. I mean, it's a piece of paper. I could make one for you if you need it.
So I believe in you. I think you're funny, quirky, very good communication, and you have your way of doing things. It's almost like you do twist words a lot, and I noticed you did that.
And let's be clear. I'm non-denominational Christian. Bro, I'm just a believer, man. I don't have any religion. I'm not a Zionist. I'm far from that. I don't identify with any of that bullshit. Personally, you do you. I believe that there's a God. I believe Jesus Christ is real. And I am a God first, Jesus first person. I pray every day to be led in the name of God. Whatever you want me to do, I talk to God like he's the homie. I seriously do. I wake up, I pray, or whenever I pray, I'm like, yo, what's up, man? God, please, tell me what you need me to do today. And I'm feeling like shit, whatever, man. I talk to him like the homie. And that's been the best for me. I'll be honest. Ever since I got real with my God, Jesus Christ, my life changed. It's like, yo, man, I need help quitting, watching porn, or I need whatever, whatever it is. I'll tell you my struggles in the past and still today. I needed help quitting drugs and cocaine and heroin back in the day and all of these things because I couldn't get sober on my own. I couldn't get sober going to NA meetings, AA meetings, going to church, and none of that shit helped. But God intervened and he said, "Hey, I got you, bro. What do you need? What do you want to do?" And I said, my experience was that I was living in riches. I was making millions of dollars in crypto. I was broke all the time, which is insane to say. And I was at a rock bottom at one of the highest parts of my life. I had money in the bank. I had 6 figures worth of gold and silver in my safe. I had cash out the ass. I just got back from Bali, and I was emotionally bankrupt because I didn't have God in my life. And I didn't understand why. I didn't understand why my crypto channel was suffering. I couldn't get 10 people to show up to a live stream. I didn't understand. I was developing crypto websites and blockchains to what I thought was helping people. And I didn't understand why it wasn't working. I wasn't happy. People weren't following. They weren't engaging, even though I had great takes on the financial market. And God said I was being greedy. You're being greedy. You think you're helping people by creating crypto coins. All you're doing is contributing to their downfall, and you're making money off of it. And he woke me up and he said, you got to stop lying. You got to stop stealing. Because I used to steal. I would go to like Walmart and I would buy stuff, but I would pocket a deodorant, or I would steal a Snickers bar, like peddly shit from back when I was a drug addict in the day. I was a heroin addict back in I got sober off heroin in 2012, but these things stuck with me, and it made my life, it just didn't make it good, because I didn't live pure. And also I never stopped smoking weed all this time since I was 14. I'm 37. So 6 months ago, right around the time Charlie Kirk died, I broke down. I cried on stream. I deleted all my channels, but from back then, but I literally cried on stream because I was making these coins, and my friends that I'd given free coins to that I'd made for this crypto and I put money into it, I gave them coins hoping they would hold and help promote it. Nobody helped promote it. Nobody shared the stream or even showed up. Even paying members in the Patreon, paying for my calls and whatever. I'm not griping. I'm just telling you what happened. And I broke down because my best friend at the time that I thought sold the crypto that we were building up, and it was like going up to like $200,000 market cap, and the chart was going up, and then he sold. And then like it devastates you because you work so hard and your friends betray you. And then the worst part was, as I'm trying, like then the people, my clients in the group, the members and the crypto degenerates, they're like, don't worry, bro, just keep building. We'll keep buying the dip. We'll buy the dip. So they buy the dip. I buy the dip. We put more money in. And then bam, another friend, as soon as we get up a little bit more, sell. And every time someone sells, everybody thinks I'm the one selling. And they're calling me a scammer when all I'm doing is slaving away. It was devastating, to say the least. And I broke down. And that was my bottom. When I had money, when I thought I had everything and I didn't have anything. And I had to make the agreement. You got to stop smoking weed. You've got to stop lying. You got to stop doing what you think is best for yourself and do what I need you to do. Spread the word. Be good to people. All right. So that's what happened with me. And that's my religion. All right. My religion is be good to people. Put God first and family first. Be good to yourself and be honest, and don't do drugs. Don't drink. I mean, I have a beer every once in a while, but I don't drink like that. I don't smoke weed anymore. I haven't smoked. That day that happened, sorry for this long rant, but a Buddhist friend called me on the phone, and God talked to me through my friend. And he said, hey, you need to stop smoking weed or you will never get what you want. And guess what? That was in September of last year. That very day was the day I met Jesse on Fire. That very day was the day that I ended up landing the opportunity to have my new contract for the Department of Defense doing AI coding. And ever since then, it's gotten better because I haven't backtracked and have only strengthened my relationship. And when I see stuff like this, I wonder, are these people actually following any God? Or is God their money? I don't know.
That with me, he hates Catholics. You know, he hates this. Catholics hate the Jews and all this stuff that you did. It's a little bit of a you know, your shtick, which I get. But let me kind of get into a few things I want to address with you in this video. Maybe you're not aware of it. A few things you need to know about me. My number one priority is to make sure America stays as the greatest country in the world. Period. Full stop. I'm America first. I'm a Christian, non-denominational Christian that you need to know about me. And by the way, I'm Armenian, which, by the way, the first nation that accepted Christianity as their religion was Armenians. And the only ones that debate Armenians on them being first is Assyrians, and my dad is Assyrian. Maybe that's the reason why my parents divorced each other twice, married each other and divorced each other. So Armenian, Assyrian, Christian, America first. I want this thing to be the greatest country in the world. I want capitalism to be common sense for everybody.
Let me say this real quick. Joanna, let me tell you something. You don't have to backslide. The reason why you might be, I'm not your doctor, I'm not anybody, I'm just Danks. Okay. I have to be honest with you, and you have to be honest with yourself. Let me go full screen. When I hear somebody say, I'm struggling, I'm backsliding, let me tell you what happened with me. When I had that spiritual moment, yeah, God talked to me. I had that opportunity. But he reminded me that he was always there because I was born Catholic. So I already knew that I could pray and close my eyes and immediately tether to God. Immediately. I can click right now. If I click and I tune in and I'm honestly speaking to God, I can feel him in my heart. You have that too. If you're not tuned in, you will struggle. If you're not asking for help in a way that your life depends on it, not just financial, not just my kids are going to leave or my husband's going to leave or my wife's. No, none of that. God, I want to be great. What do I do? And that's it. And be open. And you won't struggle. But let me tell you, when I did that, I'm telling you, I was more addicted to weed than anything else besides heroin back in the day. But weed was actually maybe more prevalent because it was always in my life and I never gave it up. But let me tell you, I never stopped smoking weed except for when I was forced to in jail or in rehabs or in sober livings. But when I tethered up, I call it the tether. I don't know what else to call it. I got a tether. When I tethered up and I held that sucker and I said, God, tell me what to do. That's literally what I said because I didn't know what to do. My whole thing was crypto and YouTube and making shit coins and websites and shit to make money. And I didn't know what to do. And he said, start doing what you love. Talk political stuff. Have commentary. Have fun with it. But use your ability with AI to teach people what you're learning about. And so I just followed. He said, you need to help other people. When I say I met Jesse on Fire that day, I didn't know Jesse back before September or August, September. I think it was like August, September, October, right around there, right around when Charlie died. And I just reached out and I said on his super chat, I had already, think about this, made millions, over $2 million from 2022 to 2025. All right. But I made most of that money in 2024. Okay. So I was learning crypto in 2022. I already had a financial background. 2023, I made my first like $300,000 off of like a couple grand. And then at the end of 2023, in Christmas week, December 21st, 2023, a friend of mine developed the coin. It was a meme coin. And he's like, yo, I want you in on this. I'll give you some coins. You buy some coins, whatever. And so I did. I put $800 into it, and I made a lot of money, you guys. I was very blessed. I made, I don't know, $400,000 in 3 days. Okay. And I took that money, and over from December 23rd, 2023 to January, February, March, those 3 months, that's where I made all my money. 4 months, I made $2.3 million. By the end of 2024, I was already struggling because I gambled a lot of money like in the market, meme coins. I was losing $100,000, $50,000. I was playing like blackjack for $1,000 a hand. Crazy shit. I was traveling around the world, all of this stuff. Went to Bali, Singapore, like you name it. I've been there, Hawaii, Florida, all over the world, mostly Southeast Asia. I was just traveling. I was doing crypto events. I was hosting events in the Marina Bay Sands in Singapore, and we had private events with DJs, and I was headlining with not headlining, but my friend was headlining. I was hosting these events, and I was empty. They were paying for my travel. I was sponsored, all this. I had all that stuff. Crypto danks. You probably can't find anything for me anymore. But I was there. And I wasn't famous, but I was impactful because I was a good speaker. I knew the markets very well. And the people in crypto liked me a lot. They invited me all over the world. So they paid for my flight, my hotel, everything. But at the end of the day, when I came back home to my family, that's all I wanted to have. After 2024, I lived the millionaire lifestyle. I did everything, anything, because I was able to make money. Even if I lost it, I made it back, right? It was high risk, high reward. But I got back. I smoked a lot of weed, started doing a lot of other stuff, stimulants, partying, not caring, not showing up to live streams, not making content regularly. And I thought I was invincible. I thought I could make money forever. And that's when I started getting desperate, making coins, trying to build a community around it. And that's when I hit my bottom. I've had many bottoms. Homeless on the streets of Mexico. I was almost lost my arm to injecting. All of this stuff. But sure, that was one major bottom. I got out of it. I got clean. I was able to fix my life. But then I backpedaled because all this money came in. I didn't know how to talk. But God told me, he said, you had to go through those experiences and you need to stay tethered. And you need to do for others what you thought you were doing is not right. You need to do what I'm telling you. So I've been operating fully on I'm on God's time right now. And since then, the day that I had the call with a Buddhist friend, after I broke down crying on the live stream, like I just ended it. I'm like, why are people selling their bags, making me look bad, calling me a scammer, and I haven't sold anything and I've lost money. And God said, he said, bro, you are being greedy and selfish and you're feeding other people's degeneracy. That is not what I called you for. Your time is coming and you need to be the person I need you to be because the world needs you. That's how it was I was taken. I was told. I didn't know what for. I said, tell me what to do, man. I don't know. What are you talking about? This is all I know. He said, delete your crypto account. Delete your ex crypto account. Thousands of followers on both accounts. Delete your Patreon. Delete your Discord. I nuked it all. And I started this account in August. And I just prayed and I said, tell me what to do and I will do it. And the first thing he said was, you have to quit smoking weed and I promise you everything will be okay. And that's what I did. And I agreed. And what's funny is, and I'll get back to this, I know I'm ranting, but as soon I had this call, we ended up whatever, my friend, and he didn't even know what I talked to him later about it. Tio, God bless him, man. Good friend. And so I called him later and whatever. I'll tell you that story maybe. But I got off the phone. It was like an hour phone call. And what's funny is my friend Tio, he's talking to me at first, like, yo, I saw you were tripping on the stream. What happened? Like, bro, I got to talk to you. And he started talking, and then his tone shifted. And he just started telling me, hey, bro, you are being greedy. You are being selfish. You think you're helping people, but you're not. You're building a gambling site. You're building it was basically Polymarket for crypto, a different version of crypto where you could bet on Bitcoin or Ethereum outperforming each other. Will this meme coin do better or that? And I had my own coin called Build AI that you would be able to bet my coin on against other people, kind of like DraftKings, but for crypto. And he told me, he said, he was talking to me and he's like, dude, you're like, what are you doing, man? Like, you are better than this. You could develop anything you want and you build a gambling site. You know, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. And then he shifted into this he called me by my first name. I don't even think I've ever told anybody at that time my first name. Tio, I don't think, maybe, but because we traveled together, maybe he saw my ID. I don't know. But he said, Anthony. What's funny is I was trying to interrupt him on the phone. I kept pushing mute, unmute. I'm like, yo, Tio, like, I'm trying to like argue with him. Like, nah, bro, you don't get it. Like, I'm trying to help the community and this and that. And I couldn't unmute the phone. He just kept pile driving me and I couldn't speak. Like, I couldn't get the words to him. He wasn't hearing it. And so he actually stopped and he said, Anthony, are you listening to me right now? This is God talking to you through Tio. Stop trying to interrupt me. I have something to tell you. And I just I was shocked. I was shell shocked. I mean, my eyes just I started just tearing up because I could feel the power. And so God laid into me like a dad that I'd never had before. And he said, all of the things you need to change. Your time is coming to do things that I need you to do, and you've been prepared. And I need you to stop with this bullshit, and it's time to move on. And so we made the agreement. And when I quit, he said, that was the first thing. I was like subconscious. You have to quit smoking weed. And what's funny is that phone call finishes, whatever. I ended up going to do I had $30 in my Cash App account. I was broke. And I went and he said, also, you have to do something for other people if you want to do well. Because I kept putting money into these crypto and people kept selling on me. And I wasn't selling because I was trying to build something, a business, in crypto. It's foolish. And I kept getting depressed. And that's when I broke down on the stream. And after the phone call, I said, okay, you tell me what to do, God. I don't know what to do from here. I was laying on the bed in tears after the phone call, and I just started praying. Tell me what to do. Tell me what to do, and I'll do it. I don't know what to do. I've been doing what I thought was good. And so I walked into this is how Jesse and I's friendship started. I walked into the living room, which I never watch TV in my living room. I watch in my bed or in my office. And I turned on the YouTube. I put on the YouTube live stream. Jesse popped up and he was live. I hardly ever catch him live. It was in the middle of the afternoon. It was with him and Gabby. They were live together on his channel. And I said, hey, man, I had $30 in my Cash App. That was all the money I had in my account after being a millionaire and like all this shit. It's just wild, man. And maybe I could tell you how the money came and went. I could tell you that later. But I get basically God was like, just tell Jesse you want to build him a website and a private community and you want to help him out because you enjoy his work. Because that's something I've always thought. Like, I was like, why doesn't Jesse have a website, like a Discord, a private community, all this stuff? And so I put $10 into Jesse's super chat. And I said, hey, man, I really need to do something good for you. Or I really want to do something for you. Like, I want to build you a website and a Discord private community. Would you let me do it? No strings attached. And I put a $10 super chat. And sure enough, Jesse brought it up on the stream. He said, "Hey, bro. Hey, you know how he does? Hey, dude, I should go find that clip. I wonder if I could find it." And he's like, "Yeah, man, send me an email. Put something website in the subject." And I did. And at the end of the stream, he called me. We talked for 45 minutes, 30 minutes. And from there, we started building this bond, this friendship. And he learned that this guy, like Danks, he's for real. Like this guy knows he's shit. I showed him my editing skills. I wasn't really even looking for work. I wanted to build him a website, which I have built. We've been waiting to launch it because I have a whole thing to go with it, a private community. The Discord's already built. Everything for Jesse is just about ready. There's other things at play here that I can't discuss. I need to let him talk about it when he's ready. But yeah, I have his website. I wonder if I should show it. Maybe I shouldn't. But yeah, everything is built. And so that's where that relationship started. Think about me. Jesse put me on. He said, "Bro, make some content. You're good at what you do at researching. Make some content." These are the good people entered my life instead of people wanting something from me, because I offered help to Jesse out of really not wanting anything. Sorry, I know this took a long side tangent, but because Jesse wanted nothing from me, I wanted nothing from Jesse but to do something for him. The floodgates opened. He put me on his YouTube, my videos. He gave me suggestions. He became a mentor. Okay? Jesse is a mentor to me. I love Jesse. And all of that because I wanted to help. Like, honestly, I even told him, I said, "I'll give you the site. You can have the Discord. I just want a place for you to call your own in case anything happens." That's it. That's just one part of the story. I have a whole nother side, something that I did for somebody else. I helped a friend with a mechanic shop, and I showed up and I helped do some AI work for his business. And I met the vice president of one of the largest DoD military contractors in the world. She came in and wanted her Corvette worked on. And I had this AI thing that I built, and she was impressed. And they hired me to go build their AI tools for their whole company. So that contract is in negotiation. If you've been following my channel, you know. So I have a company called AGI Systems. Here, I'll show you my website. AGIenterprise.io. So this is my company. Funny enough, it's from Wyoming. The only AI platform built for the defense industrial base. I wouldn't have this business if the DoD's contractors didn't need me or find me through God telling me to go help my friend. And so they ended up interviewing me. I told them my whole story. I'm a recovered heroin addict. I'm a crypto degenerate. I was a poker player for many years, but I know how to fucking code. I know how to code and build AI tools like your ass would never believe. And I showed them. I told them everything, guys. There was no hiding, because I said, you know what? If the DoD is going to be having me build shit for them, they need to know everything. So I told them the truth, everything about me. And they hired me. And you're talking millions and millions of dollars to, hopefully, God willing, if that happens, to be that much. But we're starting small. There's products that I'm building, right, that we're going to be doing starting small, and then work the way up. There's 151 locations. So these are the powers when you put yourself in a position to be humble, to take God and put him first by literally saying it's not putting God first, like, God, you are the only one first and foremost, like that's it. That's all I think about. No, all it is putting what God wants first. Okay. That's it. And that for me has been what has opened up my company, AGI LLC, AGI Systems LLC, AGIenterprise.io. That's what's opened up the opportunity to work with Jesse, with Elizabeth Lane, we're doing JP Sears, all of these people building my website, americansfortransparency.org. He's called me to build websites to expose fraud and corruption and to expose agents working for a foreign government inside of our country. You think I just decided to get up and do this shit? No. How do you think this stuff happens? I've been on InfoWars. I've been on all kinds of channels. People ask, I still going on to talk about all of this shit. All these investigations I'm doing. Look, geofencing. I've got churches here. This is one of the main things God called me to do. Tell people what churches are being geofenced. So I did. So these are all the things that can unpack. I'm sorry to end up ranting and doing all of this stuff. It wasn't my intention. I'm just feeling God powerfully right now. But like, that's what this all comes back to, what I was trying to answer the question, or not the question, but respond to someone's comment that I'm backsliding. You don't backslide when you're fully all the way in. When your head is under the water with Christ, you don't have to fear a backslide, because there's nowhere to go back. There's no back to go to. Life has changed for me. You see what I'm saying? I'll never backslide again there. Wherever that was at, I'll never go there again. That doesn't exist anymore, because I've been reborn again. However that might be, right? All it is that I told God, I'll do whatever you need me to do. I need a change, and I need your help. And that's all it took. And here I am. There's 800 people watching on X and YouTube. And hopefully it helps one person. Because if I can do it, let me tell you something. If I can do this, I haven't worked since 2022. I've been blessed, but I've been cursed at the same time. Okay? But if I made it out and I'm able to support my family, take them on trips, do this, all from learning skills and being a good person, the best that I can. I'm not perfect. I'm an asshole sometimes, but I do the best I can. If I can do this, anybody can. I was a homeless heroin addict junkie on the street of Mexico. I'm not shitting you. My arm looked like, have you seen the movie Requiem for a Dream with the big ass blue and purple baseball abscess on his arm? That was me. They told me I was going to lose my arm. I wish I had pictures. I didn't even have a phone back then. Nobody came to see me. They told me I was going to lose my arm. And I got out after a month of being treated, surgery, rehab after that. I got out and I did drugs again. That's how fucked up I was. But when I got back, when I got sent to Florida to get clean, and then things started to change. All right. And it was a process. The heroin and the homelessness and the drug addiction and the alcoholism and all of that, that was a big, long, tough, challenging process because I wasn't tethered. But now looking back, if I knew what I had today, that I could have harnessed that back then, I would be, that's why I'm saying this stuff, is because you need to know that you don't have to struggle like I did. Because I fell back into pills and coke and all that shit after I got clean on off dope. But that didn't need to be. I didn't need to go back. I didn't need to smoke weed. I didn't know that what I have now existed. I just thought there was a God and that we go somewhere after, and I didn't know where I was headed. But now I know I'm going to heaven. I will always know that. I'm not like when people say, and we're going to watch in this PBD clip, he says, I'm fearful of God. Let me tell you something. Let me check out my sweater. I'm not scared of God. Anybody who's afraid of God, let me tell you, whatever the rhetoric is, God-fearing man, all that rhetoric, I don't agree with. I don't know if you want to say whatever about that, but I will tell you this. A man who fears God, you might want to watch out. If you're fearing God, the one that loves you most and wants you to succeed more than anything on this planet, more than anything, why would you fear him? He's given me everything. It's taken it all away. He's giving it back. It's up to me ultimately. That's the greatest part. And to be God-fearing tells me that they are not tethered. Because when you're tethered like me, I have no fear. I have no fear. I would never be it pains me to hear people say I'm a God-fearing person. Fuck that. I would never fear God. Because you know what? God would never want me to fear him. Why? He wants me to be honorable and listen. And I'm sorry to preach, but you don't have to fear God, man. He doesn't want that for you. He wants you to be good to people and just follow the word that he tells you. It's not the same for everybody. Your version might just be showing up here right now and sharing the stream with somebody that needs to hear it. Who knows? It might be that you ended up having to go and meet somebody somewhere else and you help them do something, and that's your mission for the day. But wake up and ask for your mission because you got one. Don't be afraid. All right. That's enough. Sorry. I went for an hour almost. But yeah, something compelled me to tell that. Wow, that's incredible. But yeah, I'm not trying to preach. I'm giving love because I want you to know that this exists. This is real. All right. And you can hit rock bottom like Laura. You can also hit rock bottom by getting everything you want and found it to be empty. And that's one of the things that happened. It's one of my bottoms. It's one of my bottoms. It was probably my darkest bottom because when you have everything, you don't understand why you have nothing. And that's the most fucking scariest place to be in. I'll tell you that right now. When you have everything, but you've got nothing, it's a scary place to be. And you don't have to be there. What's up, Zero? $5 banger. Typically, I refrain from spreading for others. However, everyone here feels you, brother. You are the reason we are here. Don't forget it. Hey, man. God bless you, dog. What's up, Marty? I appreciate you, man. Look, God is the reason you're here, not me. Trust me. Whatever we're doing is just a sideshow.
To realize that if a new person.
So now, with that context in mind, let's watch these two men go back and forth.
Good people, and anyone who doesn't is a Nazi. And by the way, their religion itself is a Nazi religion. It's an inherently anti-Semitic religion.
So Tucker, it's interesting. I watched this video a few times, and respectfully, I want to respond to you because you're a formidable.
I didn't know that. Scripture says the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. I mean, to hate evil, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. When I say I'm not fearful, it doesn't mean see, you have to understand the context. If you are, I fear God in a way that I'm not afraid of God. Okay. I do fear the devastation that could come down on me from him if I turn my back on him. Excuse me. Sure. But I don't live in fear of God that if I don't do the right thing, God is going to punish me. No, because I don't need to have that fear. I hate evil. But evil is here. It's a yin yang. I embrace it and I destroy it because I am of light. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't disagree, but I definitely do not fear God in the context of in just the general consensus of how people say they're a God-fearing person. I'm a God-loving person. Whatever the Bible says is fine. I'm just saying I love God. I'm not scared of him. I'm not fearful of him in the way that many people might be. Where am I going to go when I die? Did I do this right or wrong? No. I love God and I know that I am on the right track. And as long as I continue that, I have nothing to be afraid of. That's it. That's it. Doesn't mean that I'm better or stronger or more powerful. Don't take my stuff out of context. Just understand that I have nothing to be afraid of. I have nothing. And anybody that wants to use my past against me, say I'm some degenerate and I have no idea what I'm talking about, that's fine. I have no skeletons, nothing to hide. Nothing. I'm an open book. And I live that way on purpose, so I have no fear. All right.
Voice, whether I agree with you or not, you're somebody that's very good at getting your message
All
out.
right, one more. Let's go through this. Was almost 1 year sober, now 2 months. We stay sober through God's power. No human power can keep us sober. Sharing your story is necessary. Fear his wrath helps keep us following him, not scared. Absolutely. That's a great way of putting it. That's kind of what I was trying to say just now. Fearing his wrath is all that there is for me. But more importantly is like I fear his wrath for the others now. Because I know that I'm not going to do anything that's going to put myself in the path of his wrath. But I agree that 100% anybody who's getting sober from other men talking in a room together, well, what do they say? The Lord's Prayer. What do they say? The Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. That's the first word. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God. In a room full of men, that's a secular thing. The whole big book is circled around God. The only reason people are sober today in AA is either by sheer self-determination or by the help of God's power. You can't do it alone with people. You can't do it with people. You can't do it. God will find a way to save you. For me, it wasn't necessarily just quit using drugs. Like I'm on Suboxone treatment. I've been on it for 5 years, longer maybe. You know, and we're probably going to be tapering off soon. I don't have any desire to keep taking Suboxone. But you know, they told me the longer you're on it, the better it works. And they've been right, you know, and it's changed my life. There's a lot of things in my background. I don't want to go on what I do, but you know, my life has been a blessing. And if it wasn't for God, I didn't know this side of life exists. I am so grateful. Thank you. Thank you, F3J. Thank you, Zero. Thank you, F335 JSF for the 10 banger and the what's up? Unclaimed emotional baggage. What, you have a second account? Thanks, Zero. Appreciate you guys. All right. I promise I'll stop interrupting. Let's run it.
Out there. And I think at this point, you know, if there's anybody that believes in your ability, it's a guy like this who, after I sold my company, offered you $100 million contract. I even went on your friend Megan Kelly's show when I announced it, and she was asking specific questions. I said, yep, we went to your house, we made the offer, then we spent some time together. I came to Maine and we did your show, and we've had a couple good conversations together. So I believe in you. I think you're funny, quirky, very good communication, and you have your way of doing things. It's almost like you do twist words a lot, and I noticed you did that with me. He hates Catholics. You know, he hates this. Catholics hate the Jews, and all the stuff that you did. It's a little bit of your shtick, which I get. But let me kind of get into a few things I want to address with you in this video. And maybe you're not aware of it. A few things you need to know about me. My number one priority is to make sure America stays as the greatest country in the world. Period. Full stop. I'm America first. I'm a Christian, non-denominational Christian that you need to know about me. And by the way, I'm Armenian, which, by the way, the first nation that accepted Christianity as their religion was Armenians. And the only ones that debate Armenians on them being first is Assyrians, and my dad is Assyrian. Maybe that's the reason why my parents divorced each other twice, married each other, and divorced each other. So Armenian, Assyrian, Christian, America first. I want this thing to be the greatest country in the world. I want capitalism to be common sense for everybody, to realize that if a new person wants to come up and have their dreams become a reality, I want that to be out there. But I wonder if that's where you are today. You were always there for many years until what's happened with you the last couple of years. So let me kind of address a few things. So you said something a couple weeks ago. You said Sharia law has made Islamic societies more advanced than the West. Huh. It's interesting. Sharia law has made Islamic societies more.
This is interesting that Patrick is going this angle. So he's going to be attacking him for talking about Islamic culture. And he does have some interesting points, and we're going to get into it. You know, and I think that it's important to see the perspectives and how people feel about what people are saying, like Tucker, right? Hold on one second. All right. What's up, Zawakian? Fearing is not being terrified, but having a deep respect and reverence for God. That's what they mean. Absolutely. I agree. 100%. Thank you for the super chat. Welcome. I think we gained a Dankster. Fridays, members only live stream. There's a poll up in the chat. Do you believe in God? Let me know. No judgment. Let me know.
More advanced than the West? It's a pretty bold statement. I mean, it's like you're selling Sharia law more than you're selling America. You had a guest on a couple of weeks ago. Your guest said, you know, that capitalism should not be anywhere near Christianity. Christianity is socialism at its core. You almost agreed with them. And you're like, yes. And you almost agreed with them. So socialism, Christianity at its core, you almost sound like you're supporting maybe a Mamdani in New York.
Ooh.
Or maybe an Ilhan Omar. Maybe those two will be in your podcast in the next few months. I don't know. I'm trying.
Let me be straight up. Let me get this straight, actually. PBD is upset that Tucker allegedly praised Sharia law. Okay. Let's stipulate for a second that Tucker did say exactly that, right? Does PBD think the audience has amnesia? This is the same PBD who platformed Andrew Tate in 2022, 2023, 2024, all kinds of other people. The freaking Reza Pahlavi from Iran, self-professed Muslim, you know, for Andrew Tate, Muslim convert, who said on his Tucker's show that he chose Islam because Christianity was too weak to defend itself, and PBD had Tate on valuetainment, paid promotion, warm chair, softball questions. Where was the Sharia outrage then? He literally said it on the show. It only shows up when the target is Tucker. This is not principled positioning on Islam. This is a targeted attack dressed up as a principled opinion or position or whatever. And Jesse on Fire, I showed you earlier, called the pattern yesterday. I reposted it. Just asking questions when it suits them. Aggressive moral clarity when it damages the enemy specific to what they want to damage.
Trying to see what you're solving for. See, this is kind of where I'm at with my life that most people don't know about, but let me kind of share it with you. For 7.5 years, I worked with Mormons. Guess what? I read everything I could on Mormons, and I realized it's not a denomination for me. I'm not interested. I watch all the videos you're not supposed to watch. Ask me how many bad experiences I had with Mormons. Zero. They're phenomenal people. I work with Seventh-day Adventists, and I learned that on Saturdays, you know, there's Saturday, Sunday, all these different things. Very interesting. Guy named Juan Rivas, big community. Not for me, but guess what? I got along with them. Jews. I notice Jews, when I do business with them, it's very interesting if you negotiate with them. They're going to be very, very making sure they get all the benefits on their side. But ask me how many times I've had issues with Jews. Never. Okay, if you ask me about Catholics, I built an insurance company with 60,000 insurance agents, 54% Hispanic. And what do you think most Hispanics are? Catholics. Never had one issue with a single Catholic in my life. And
you guys realize he just lied to everybody, right? Never had a single issue with a Catholic in my life. Bro, what are you talking about? You've never had an employee who came in drunk who might be Hispanic or not, or white or black and Christian or Catholic, or who tried to steal money from the company somehow, or you had to fire because they were a problem, or sexual harassment in the workplace that was maybe a Catholic. You never had a problem. He just walked us through his faith resume of people. He worked 7.5 years with Mormons, worked with Seventh-day Adventists and Christians, and built a 60,000 agent insurance whatever company that was 54% Hispanic Catholic women, which he loves to say. Never had an issue with the Jew, never had an issue with the Catholic, never had an issue with the Muslim. Okay, that's a nice Rolodex. Here's the problem. The charge from Tucker that was not that PBD is personally mean to individual Jews or individual Catholics. The charge from Tucker to PBD was that PBD is carrying water for a foreign government on his show. Those are two different allegations. I'm friends with Muslims. I work great with Jews. I've never had issues with Catholics. Lie on all account. This is not a response to your platforming Israeli government talking point propaganda. You had fucking Sean Hannity sit in your chair and talk about Zionism for 2 hours straight when you weren't there, dude. You think, like, are we, like, where is the cognitive dissonance is beyond me. This is the oldest misdirection in the debate textbook, history of debate. Answer the charge that wasn't made and hope the audience forgets what the real charge actually is. My insurance agents love me is not a counter to what's being allegated.
Last but not least, Islam, Muslim. I lived with them for 11 years. When you say Sharia law has made Islamic societies more advanced than the West, I lived with the IRGC and the Hezbollahs in Iran, where my mother and my sister were frightened to walk outside. That's this guy. I lived with them, okay? Not hypotheticals. And, you know, we are now both very wealthy. You come from a very wealthy family. I think you also may have married into a wealthy family.
And he played his strongest emotional card. He lived in Iran. I have family still in Iran myself. My dad is from Iran. My mom's dad is from Iran. I'm not going to mock. He's lived under the IRGC. It's just like my family. I'm not going to mock that. That's real. Families fled Iran for real reasons, and the terror of walking outside under the mullah rule is not a hypothesis. This is real. I respect that he lived that experience just like my family also did. But here's the problem. Lived experience is still not an argument. It is a credential, and a credential does not answer a question. Tucker did not say PBD is pro-Sharia law. Tucker did not say, you know, PBD is a fan of Iranian, any of that. In fact, we all know he's not. He said he isn't. Shows he's not. Tucker said PBD is carrying water for a different foreign government today. It's very clear. We all see it, bro. Fleeing Iran in the 80s or the 90s does not tell anything about where your money comes from today. All right. Survivors of one regime are not immune to being instruments of another regime. History is full of people who have escaped one flag and ended up under a different one. And the question was never, did you suffer under Islam? No, it wasn't that. The question was, who is paying you today, bro? Like, what is going on with, why are you platforming consistent Zionist propaganda garbage? Why? That's basically what he's saying.
You made a lot of money. You made a lot of money in your life, and your business is doing very well today. When you go to dinner, you're having dinner with people that are going to make sure you see the best side of everything you go to. When I went to Mumbai, they showed me the best part of Mumbai. I went to the slums because I wanted to see what it looked like. Whatever part of the world I go to, I get treated royally today. Why? Because they want to show me the best. But I lived in the worst when our family had nothing. Literally nothing is what we had when we lived in Iran. Regular places. We lived in the city of Tehran. But you know, as crazy as that is, do you know my chef that lives with us when we go on the road? He's with us all the time. You know, he's
you know how he sprinkles all of this like wealth throughout? My chef, he's gonna give a great story, to be honest, but my chef, he lives with me and we travel around the world and Bro, where is the love in this? Where is the love in this, my guy?
Muslim, and he's Turkish, and he's still a Muslim. And do you know what Turks did to Armenians and Assyrians? You ever heard of the Armenian genocide or the Assyrian genocide? You ever heard of that? 1.5 million, 300,000, 200,000. I love this guy. He's a great guy to us. He's very good to us because I isolate the relationship with that individual. And I still tell him how concerned I am with what Islam could do to America. I am still concerned of that, of what's happened in many different societies. Look at, what they're doing in Minnesota, many markets that we read about. Look at what's going on in New York right now. Look at what's going on in a couple places in Plano on how they're growing. And so Charlie Kirk, whom you and I think both admire, Charlie Kirk,
let me go back.
With that, is a great guy to us. He's experienced. You ever heard of the time? You know he's city of Tehran today. Why? Because they want to show me the best. But I lived in the worst when our family had nothing. Literally nothing is what we had when we lived in Iran. Regular places we lived in the city of Tehran.
I had nothing.
But as crazy as that is, do you know my chef that lives with us?
I had nothing from Iran to chef that lives with us in one sentence, bro.
When we go on the road, he's with us all the time. Do you know he's Muslim and he's Turkish and he's still a Muslim? And do you know what Turks did to Armenians and Assyrians? You ever heard of the Armenian genocide or the Assyrian genocide? You ever heard of that? 1.5 million, 300,000, 200,000. I love this guy. He's a great guy to us. He's very good to us because I isolate the relationship with that.
You'd be a fool to identify him with any of that shit, bro. He just told you his personal Turkish Muslim chef who travels with him around the world. Like, what are we doing? A personal chef who travels on the road. This is the same guy who 7 minutes ago was walking us through the Tehran slums where his mother was frightened to leave the house. Patrick, the kid from the slum doesn't have a Turkish chef on a retainer flying city to city. The guy with the Turkish chef is the guy you're mad at Tucker for being. It's like you're saying you're using this relationship. I don't know. I misstated what I was trying to say. You're using this relationship with what are you trying to say? Your Muslim chef is the exception because he works for you, and every other Muslim is the threat, or what are you trying to say? That's not religious discernment, bro. Sorry,
that individual. And I still tell him how concerned I am with what Islam could do to America. I am still concerned of that, of what's happened in many different societies. Look at, what they're doing in Minnesota, many markets that we read about. Look at what's going on in New York right now. Look at what's going on in a couple places in Plano on how they're growing. And so Charlie Kirk, whom you and I think both admire, Charlie Kirk once said, I think it was 2 days before he was killed. I think it was 1 day before he was killed. He said, Islam is the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America. Let me read it to you one more time. Islam is the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America. Do you agree with Charlie? Because I do. I do.
Oh, wow. That post was on the 8th. Excuse me. Islam is so Charlie Kirk. So he made this post on the 8th. Look at this. I didn't know this. So Charlie Kirk, so Wall Street Apes, if you don't know, on X, Wall Street Apes is a very popular account. I'll show you. They give some, I should follow them. I don't know if I do. I don't follow a lot of people. But this is a big account. But they give a lot of interesting takes. But there's good data here. There's good information. But yeah, so interesting that this account posted on the 8th, 2 days before. Charlie Kirk says the left will use Islam to bring down America. The spiritual battle is coming to the West, and the enemies are wokeism or Marxism, combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life. Islam is the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America. So this was right up until the day he died. I'm not saying that it's not true, but there are lots of great Muslim and Islam people. They're not all radical, crazy murderers. This is not how it is. In every religion, you have good and evil. Every single one. You have the radical Christians, the radical Zionists, the radical Jews. You have the radical everything. Radical Muslims, Hindus. I don't even know, maybe even Buddhists. Yeah, obviously Buddhists too. They don't talk, they don't eat for days or whatever. They don't sleep. They just, so, you know, it is interesting though that he would attack Islam when he's also saying that he's stepping away. This is how deep the radicalization goes from the propaganda, because they force this thought, and Charlie was young and he was impressionable and he was a good talker, but these talking points have penetrated his very core. Islam is the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America. If you had good Islam or Muslim people that come to this country that are Muslim, practicing whatever, they start businesses, they have kids, they do good things, that's not going to slit anybody's throat. It's only going to contribute. They're just another religion looking to praise God. That's it. They aren't out here. Nobody is trying to, we don't want to have any religion forcing our government. You see what I'm saying? And when you start identifying a religion as demonic and taking over our government, which in my mind, it shouldn't be Christian. It shouldn't be, I don't believe in having Christian leadership running the country in a Christian way. I mean, in a Christian requirement. I believe in a Christian way, in a good way, but I don't think everyone was required to be Christian or to be Muslim or any of that. But when you say stuff like that, this is what drives the radicalism. This is what gets people worked up. And it's propaganda. I have a Muslim family. Nobody's ever tried to do any harm. In fact, they've been nothing but good people to me. And you have to understand that this is a game for them to get us to hate. And the further along they get us to hate more and more and more, the more power they get, the higher ups, the elites. The more power they get from us hating, because evil fuels from hate and power strengthens through hate and evil.
The throat of America. Do you agree with Charlie? Because I do. I do. Because it's all like, hey, let's.
This is a talking point. Okay, this is think about it like this. There's different types of Islam and Muslim. If you have freeloaders coming over here that are gang members and stuff, we've seen the Somalian stuff, okay? This is happening all over the country. It's not just Islam. It's Jews, it's Christians, it's all different types of religion that they are using for this left wokeism, Antifa style propaganda or mission to destroy. But again, there's good and bad in every one. If you took Muslims that are practicing, that are Persians, that are Afghanis, that are African or whatever, and that are just hardworking, they want to work and go to school and do all of this, you're going to have a good society. Doesn't matter their religion. But if you bring in people that are committing fraud, people that are killing and raping and doing all of these things, that is when you get this slitting the throat of America. Excuse me. So just know that it's not the religion itself. It's the people within the religion.
Let's make it not a big deal. Let's be tolerant. Let's be tolerant Christians. Sharia law has made Islamic societies more advanced than the West. Let's just be tolerant. It's okay. Let's be tolerant. Let's accept all this stuff. Let's allow all this immigration that's going on in UK. It's not a big deal. They're not that bad. It's fine. They don't live the way you do. They just don't. They don't live by the values you and I live in America. They don't. Now, if you I have a lot of friends that, like Andrew.
And I will say, well, here,
Andrew Tate chose to become a Muslim. If you've already converted, but you've not made the announcement publicly, listen, to each his own. You're making that decision as an adult. I support it. More power to you. But my priority is America first. My priority is to make sure we advance America in a way that young men are able to make enough money to get married and have 3+ kids, preferably 4, and be able to have their kids' dream become a reality, where if they want to go build a business and make billions, do it. If you want to make millions, do it. If you want to go in the military, do it. If you want to go out there and, have a regular job, making $58,000 a year at whatever company, but you're happy about your job because you're a school teacher, go do it. That's what I want. And as a Christian man, non-denominational, Christ is king. I say that comfortably. My life changed the day I accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior, January 21st of 2004.
Good. I'm glad. I hope that that's the case. I believe him, actually. But he did do something that you probably should not ever let slide. He invoked Charlie Kirk's words from 2 days before he was killed to sell the audience on an anti-Islam frame. And in the exact same breath, he gave Andrew Tate a free pass because Tate converted to Islam and, quote, to each his own. You're making that decision as an adult. I support it. More power to you. Patrick, you cannot have it both ways, my guy. You can't have it both ways on camera and in 90 seconds of each other like this. Islam is either the sword that the left is using to slit the throat of America, or it's a personal choice you respect when a guy with a massive platform than most politicians on this planet converts to it. You got to pick one. The real answer is he's sorting Muslims into 2 piles now, probably more. There's the Muslim chef who cooks for him, the Muslim podcast guest who he brings him 4 million views on an episode, and the Muslim convert who brand sells tickets. Those are the good ones. Then there's the Muslim family in Minnesota and the Muslim neighborhood in Plano. Those are the civilization threat, apparently. That's not discernment. This is ballerina dancing on the platforms, okay? On revenue, on money, on clicks, on views. Every Muslim who's paid PBD is a friend. Every Muslim who doesn't is a problem. And Charlie Kirk's body is the rhetorical shield he used to make you think that he's right. Every Muslim who pays PBD is a friend, and every Muslim who doesn't is the enemy to America. Think about that. How twisted. Seaside, thank you for the super chat. A Holy Spirit clearly convicted your heart when you read that comment from Joanna. Yeah, I was looking to see if she was in the chat still. Joanna, if you're in the chat, say something. Say I'm here, all caps. It was inspirational to hear more of your story. You touched many lives. You touched many lives today with your honesty and truth. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, man. I care. I want the best for everybody. And yeah, you're right. Something came out of me. I don't know what it was. God, obviously. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Fear knocked. What's up, Just Julia 888? Fear knocked on the door. Faith answered, and no one was there. Thanks for your rants. Thanks. And PBD's hour-long video to Tucker's statement without addressing the point is already an admission of guilt. I hear you. Thank you for the super chat. I'm just reading the chat. Let me know if you're here still, Joanna. I hope you were here to hear that message.
We'll say that to a Jew, to a Muslim, to a Catholic, to anybody. That's my faith. And every day I fall short. When we first moved to Florida, for the first 30 days, every single night, I would walk and I would listen to this version of Amazing Grace because that's the only thing I relate to. Those words, you know the words. Amazing Grace.
What's funny is I'm just going to give him a little shit here. You know the word. Watch how he does this. You know the words, but watch what he ends
Only
up
thing
doing.
I relate to. Those words, you know the words. Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound that, I want to read this thing to you, that saved a wretch like me, like this guy.
So didn't he say he like,
The only thing I relate. When we first moved to Florida, for the first 30 days, every single night, I would walk and I would listen to this version of Amazing Grace because that's the only thing I relate to. Those words, you know the words.
what's funny is he said, this is what I would listen to every night or whatever. And that's what I would listen to. And you know the words. But then he goes and he has to freaking read the words. Bro. Come on, dude.
Amazing Grace. How sweet
Look
the
at him.
sound that, I want to read this thing to you, that saved a wretch like me, like
They have editing. He edited this video.
this guy, regular guy, a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Jesus Christ changed my life. And I'm a Christian man saying this, a business owner. Most people don't know what I do throughout the day. I run companies for a living. I'm not a media guy. We've grown this business from 9 employees to 165 employees. I'm in meetings from morning till night, and I love what I do because I live in the greatest country in the world. So, message back to you. I don't want to be enemies with you. Although if you want to be enemies, I'm okay with.
Interesting. Yeah, can't offer that grace to anyone else. Good point. I like that. Yeah. What's interesting is instead of offering grace and just taking it on the chin, I mean, it wasn't even that much. I wish I could find the clip. I only have it. I'll go look.
With that as well, it doesn't bother me, but I don't want to be enemies with you because I actually want to believe deep down inside you love America. You love America. I want to believe deep down inside you're there. And whether you know this or not, you have a lot of influence right now. I do think one of the topics that's going to be an issue on the ballot for 2028 will be Israel, control, AIPAC, all of that stuff. And I'd like to see how that pans out. And how it goes, because I like debates. I watch these debates. I watch what takes place. I watch to see where the market is going to. So I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you're trying to get behind the Massie, because I think he's a talented guy. I don't know if you want to run. I don't know what you're solving for. I don't know if you're like, well, I don't care if we win the midterms. I don't care. Let a Democrat win. Maybe sometimes America needs to go through the pruning process because I want to see destroy the GOP and start all over again. I don't know. Maybe that's the vision. If it is, more power to you. That's not my vision. My vision isn't that. And I have a sprinkle of libertarian in me because I want to be left alone and just kind of allow me to do that kind of stuff. So whenever I have the conversation and I listen to it, Dave, I agree with a lot of the stuff libertarians also believe in. But I think
this is the audit challenge window right here.
There's an end to it because we've already started a country the way that we are. And so you and I both get accused of something. I want you to process this and I want you to know I'm open to it. You get accused of, this guy, Tucker's taking money. Oh, Pat's a Zionist. He's taking money from Israel. Never been to Israel. AIPAC messaged me and told me, you want to come to Israel? I said, I have no interest in going to Israel for you to pay for me. I'm going to go one day with my pastor. We've never taken money from anybody. And I'm so confident with my...
PBD's never taken money from anybody. Maybe in the context he's saying it. But if there's anything I know about PBD, that he's a money whore. He will put that ass out on the corner if it was $1 million that someone was going to slide in his butt crack on the way down the street. I'm telling you, PBD's a money whore. Don't forget what did I open this show with? Double Your Money was his big video that everybody found him on. Decade ago. how to double your money. In fact, real quick, just so you know what I'm talking about. PBD, how to double your money. You're talking this video.
So recently I shot a video called 20 Rules of Money, and one of the rules in that video was learning how to double your money. And people,
This is how he was doing it. The original Professor Zhang. Double your money. The guy is all about the money.
myself on what I've done, because there's only one thing I fear in my life, and that's God. I don't fear anything more than I fear God. And trust me, I fear God a lot, because this
is why I said what I said earlier about fearing God. I fear God a lot. Why, bro? What do you got to fear? Just don't do anything and be fearful of the wrath and be good, bro.
thing's like, I don't fear anything more than I fear God. And trust me, I fear God a lot, because this thing's like this. If you ever wanted to have fun, and let's just say, put it out there on the line, and again, I'll put the onus on you if you're open to this or not. Let's go hire 3 accounting firms. You pick one, I pick one, and let's get a third party that we both agree on, maybe like a KPMG, PwC, and BKD, hypothetically. Some of the biggest firms you probably recognize. You have money, you've done well for yourself. Let's have them do audited financials on me, my wife, and you and your wife, and report back to see if I've ever gotten paid from Israel, and report back to see if you've ever gotten paid from Qatar or Pakistan or any of these guys. All the businesses, all the LLCs, all the accounts, you know how this kind of works. They can kind of figure that out. And let's be honest with the audience. If you're open to it, I'm available. We'll have to spend $500,000, something like that, because it's going to take a few weeks for them to do it. I am fully open to that idea if you are. And by the way, I know this may make you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to accept this offer, but I'm telling you, I'm comfortable if you want to do it. You don't have to do it because it's a little bit private. So I'm sure you're going to come out and say, how dare he want to look at my wife's bank accounts and all this other stuff? Because some people may say, well, they can pay your wife and not through you. And I get that as well. And that's why I want to be a little bit transparent with you. I've tried many times to build a relationship with you.
So that is the audit challenge. All right. So I want you to catch the sleight of hand before we even talk about the 3 accounting firms, which I'm not going to go too far into, but before PBD demands Tucker's books, essentially, he pre-declares his own innocence on camera. Quote, never been to Israel. AIPAC messaged me and told me you want to come to Israel. I said, I have no interest in going to Israel for you to pay me or pay for me. Patrick, stop. Back up, bro. You just confirmed on camera that AIPAC has your number and has been reaching out to you, and AIPAC has offered you paid travel. AIPAC has your number and enough of a relationship to pitch you on a junket. That's not the exoneration that you think it is, bro. That's the opening page of a FARA file that I might have to start building. AIPAC does not cold call random messaging to podcasters. They message people or they hit them up because they believe that the influence pipeline is available to you. Do you ever wonder why? Maybe because you're giving off some of these vibes, bro. They message people that they believe are in this pipeline for them. You just established on tape that you are inside of that pipe, bro. Declining the trip doesn't erase the fact that it happened. Like, the contacts are there. The ideology is there. The alignment is there. Salem Media. Clock Tower X LLC. Brad Parscale. Sean Hannity. Josh Hammer. Ben Shapiro. You established it right here, bro. You just said it, man. Then you pivot immediately to demanding Tucker hire 3 accounting firms to prove a negative while you play prosecutor, judge, jury, defendant all at once. The standard you just set for Tucker is a standard you failed on in the very sentence you offered. AIPAC has your number. That's the receipt. You just handed it to me. yourself. AIPAC has my number. It's not a denial. It's an admission. Patrick Bet David.
It's been challenging. But I do want you to know that as a Christian man myself, no matter how much you go to a place to not want to believe in somebody, I've been instructed by God to try to do my best to have some grace. And I believe in you. I believe in your abilities. But I believe in God and America more than I believe in any man in America, because I've seen many great empires fall. And for as long as I'm alive and I'm kicking, and if God wants to use me as a voice to elevate how amazing of a country we live in, how lucky we are to be here, I'm going to use my voice to elevate that message. I've been doing that since the time I went to dinner with a few different people in LA, and I was in.
Can I say shout out? We've got 1,000 people watching, 564 on X. Like and subscribe and follow and share this message. People need to see it. 400 and something, almost 500 on YouTube. Thank you for being here. Share the love. Hit the buttons. Do the dealios. Let's expose these fraudsters. Let's share the word of God. Let's do things that make America great. Not any other place great. Makes us great. Because we got to be great before we can make anything great. We got to be great. We can't do shit. Why do you think we haven't made America great again? Why do you think Trump can't do that? He can't do that because he's not actually great inside for God. You ever think of that? The reason why you can't be great and the reason why you can't, like, making America great has failed. So he went to go make Israel great, and that's failing. And then he went to go make Iran great, and that's failing. So what's next? Make Pakistan great, MPGA, make India great, more MIGAs? Come on, bro. You can't make things great when you aren't great with God.
Inspired, and I was finally taught about how amazing this great country is, that we escaped Iran after 11 years and went to Germany at a refugee camp, and then finally came here. I served the U.S. Army 101st Airborne Division, one of the most proudest days of my life when I went into the U.S. Army. So that offers back to you. Now, you have my cell phone number. If you want to call me, have a conversation, I'd love to. I'd love to. Your talent, I respect your ability on what you've done. But if you send your followers, and you got a lot of people that will do whatever you do, because you're the head guy at the top, and
I wonder if PBD ever donated to AIPAC. What up, my niggas? I wonder if PBD ever donated to AIPAC. I know he probably donates to you don't have to donate to AIPAC, because you can donate to the Heritage Foundation. They are a Zionist organization. And I think he does, because he's friends with Kevin, the CEO. I don't know. I could be wrong.
All the other people that follow whatever you say. So I trust all of them are going to probably attack me. I hope they don't, because I'd like to see that if the day Charlie passed, it was a heavy burden on me, because I have young boys that love Charlie. I've never seen my son get emotional for 30 minutes the day Charlie died, and I was at an event that I couldn't even get to my son that night. I think there's a lot of movements that need our help. I'm willing to contribute in my own way. If you are willing to contribute, you know how to get a hold of me. You have my cell phone number. God bless.
These closing 90 seconds, we're going to actually do more. We're going to watch now Tucker's video after this. We'll see how long we can go. I haven't been live for a while, so I want to hang out and engage with you guys. There's a lot more great takes, content I'm going to show you here, maybe another hour or so. So stick around, don't leave. But PBD stacks 5 identities on top of each other in sequence. Okay? Sorry. So we literally watch him talk about refugee from Iran, 11 years in hiding, Germany refugee camp, U.S. Army 101st Airborne veteran, Christian man of grace, grieving fathers whose young son cried for 30 minutes the day Charlie Kirk was killed. All 5 identities deployed under 2 minutes in the end there. This is immunity. It's called immunity stacking. That's what it's called. Look it up. Immunity stacking. It is a professional move. And from this moment forward in the discourse, this is what it allows this to happen. Any criticism of PBD can be framed as an attack of a refugee, a veteran, a grieving father, a Christian, a Charlie memory, or Charlie's memory. He just built a rhetorical fortress around himself and stapled Charlie's corpse to the front door. But I want you to hear one line inside that stack that nobody else is going to catch. Quote, he said, the day Charlie passed, it was a heavy burden on me because I have two young boys that love Charlie. I've never seen my son get more emotional for 30 minutes, and I was at an event and I couldn't even get to my son that night, something like that. So what event, Patrick? Your friend just died. Your son is collapsing in tears for 30 minutes and you cannot get home? What event was worth that? Because the man who is demanding Tucker Carlson at an event, demanding Tucker Carlson submit his wife's bank accounts to 3 auditing companies, just admitted on camera that he chose an event over his crying child on the night his friend died. And that is a detail you do not volunteer unless you think it makes you look strong. But it doesn't. It makes you look like it makes you look like the thing you're accusing Tucker of being, which is a shill. A man whose priorities are in front of other people and a microphone, not at home and a family and God. Your son cried for 30 minutes and you were at an event. What event was worth it? And was it even worth it at all? And why do you mention it here, bro? So, yeah. Anyways, we're going to go to this Tucker video. I have it queued up right here. Let me see. I think this is where so is it here? So he's talking here. Let's start it back a little bit. It's part of this monologue. I'll start it from right around here. It's a few minutes in.
For Congress, because she was inspired by Donald Trump. She was the number one Trump seeing, has a role in contemporary Christian tongues. Are you charismatic or not? Do you believe that glossolalia, tongues, prophesying has a role in contemporary Christian worship, church services? They're mad at each other about that. Trump probably isn't even aware of that distinction. All of them are welcome as long as their faith includes unwavering support for Israel. That's the common denominator. That's the only thing that matters. And because that's the only thing that matters, the coalition, the ever shrinking, day by day shrinking coalition that supports this president is now out in force explaining that actually the Pope and Catholics, the Catholic Church itself, which about 20 minutes ago, most people thought was conservative in that it's pro-life, for example. That used to be a tenet of conservatism before this president. It wasn't for abortion. That the Catholic Church is somehow liberal, and not just liberal, anti-Semitic. It's evil. It hates Jews. It's actually pro-Nazi. Watch Lindsey Graham make this case.
They're religious Nazis in the Catholic Church. God bless the Catholic Church. In the 30s, you didn't really get Hitler. To the Pope, you really don't get this religious Nazi regime, the Ayatollah and his henchmen. They are evil. They will kill all the Jews if we let them. And the Jewish people, one Holocaust is enough.
Oh, see, the Pope doesn't really get that Nazism is evil. Catholics just somehow missed that memo. Hitler bad. They just didn't. It's been 80 years, but they never really bought into the proposition that the Holocaust was bad, that murdering Jews was bad. They're probably kind of for it, actually. Now, it's interesting because a year ago, No Republican member of Congress would have dared say anything like that. First of all, that's insane. It's a slander against Catholics, saying this is a birthright lifelong Protestant, but it's just not true. It's a horrible thing to say about anybody. But as a political matter, it would have been crazy to say that because Catholics, sincere church-going Catholics, vote Republican. In fact, the more often you go to Mass, the more likely you are to vote Republican. And that's true across races, by the way. So you see all these, Hispanics are...
Put a W in the chat if you feel like you're winning today. Are you having a good day? Put a W in the chat if you are winning. And let me know how you're feeling in the chat right now about this live stream. Are you glad that I'm here talking? I didn't wake up feeling like I was going to do a live stream. I felt compelled. Let me know if you're winning today.
Voting for Trump. And he got more Hispanics to vote for him. It is true in 2024 than any Republican maybe ever. More than Jeb Bush, speaking Spanish, married to a Mexican lady. How did he do that? Well, one of the reasons he did that is because a lot of Hispanics are very Catholic. They're Christian. They're religious. They go to Mass a lot. And because their faith, for some of them, their faith is at the center of their lives, they voted for the candidate who seemed most predisposed to their religious views. Maybe he's not a Christian or a fervent Christian, but he seemed like a man who would protect Christians, Catholic Christians included. And so they voted for him. So a year ago, and every Republican knows this because there's lots of polling on it, because politicians think in terms of coalitions and who's going to vote for me and why. And they know this very well. So a year ago, no Republican.
3/4 of a W. I need to do housework. I can't let myself off the hook. Bro, this is the perfect podcast to put in earbuds and do some housework, man.
Would ever
don't let that slip. I know the feeling, trust me.
Up on TV and say, the thing about Catholics is they're kind of Nazis. But there's Lindsey Graham doing it right there. This is a profound break, and it's a very clear window into what the actual faith is. Israel is the deal killer. Anyone who doesn't support the military aims of the modern Israeli government cannot be part of the MAGA coalition, and Lindsey Graham has just told us, can't be a Christian. To me,
what? Wait, let me back that up.
And of deal killer. Window into what this is a profound break, and it's a very clear window into what the actual faith is. Israel is the deal killer. Anyone who doesn't support the military aims of the modern Israeli government cannot be part of the MAGA coalition, and Lindsey Graham has just told us, can't be a Christian. It's amazing. But it's not just Lindsey Graham. This is everywhere today, in case you haven't seen it. Here's Patrick Bet David on his podcast a day or two ago. Watch this.
This is it. This is what started it. Booch, boom, booch, boom, booch.
I don't know why Catholics, have this issue with Jews. I don't know what it is. They have this. I don't listen. I get the Jews have issues with Christians, and they'll make fun and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, your Jesus is gonna do." They'll say, "Well, he was a Jew anyways, right?" Yeah. But then Catholics have that issue with Jews, and they act like they're all innocent and everything. And when you look at Catholics, the amount of centuries.
Let me go back here. Let me go back a little bit. I got to see that. I was all engaged in the chat. I think because we need to realize what just happened. Tucker just made a connection most commentators probably would never touch, for good reason. But let's talk about it. I mean, he said a year ago, no Republican senator would get on camera and call the Catholic Church religious Nazis. Today, Lindsey Graham says it out loud and nobody blinks. That's very interesting. And then, with perfect editorial timing, Tucker rolls the PBD clip right into it. Bro, that is not subtle, but Graham and PBD are the same play, running by different people. It's kind of crazy. One of them is a senator who's been in office for 2 decades, funded by AIPAC money out the wazoo, and or AIPAC adjacent or whatever, Zionist money. The other is PBD, self-proclaimed 100 millionaire, who just admitted AIPAC has his phone number. Different costume, same script. The script is Catholics can be called Nazis now because the only Christians who matter are the ones who bowed to Israel first. That's not my analysis. This is just, I'm just watching. I mean, I don't, you tell me what you got.
In fact, the more often you go to mass, the more likely you are to vote Republican. And that's true across races, by the way. So you see all these, Hispanics are voting for Trump. And he got more Hispanics to vote for him. It is true in 2024 than any Republican maybe ever. More than Jeb Bush, speaking Spanish, married to a Mexican lady.
Am I still stuck? You guys are saying I'm stuck. Let me see. I should be fine. It might get stuck every once in a while. It's just, yeah, you're right. Why is it doing that? Give me 1 second. Why is it doing that? Am I really stuck? Hold on. It looks fine for me. I'm frozen again. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me see why that is. Is that better? Are we better? I'm better or no? Let me know. It's still stuck? We're good, right? I'm moving my head, moving my body. Oh, yeah, it's freezing. Why is that? Hang on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Is it better? Are we back? This should be better, hopefully. I don't know why it was doing that. Let me yeah, it's freezing. That is so weird. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can fix this or see what's the issue here. This is bullshit. Yeah, it keeps freezing. Okay, give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna check my internet speed real quick. And if I have to plug in my internet, I will. My hard wire. Yeah, it looks like my internet's. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug in. I mean, it says my internet's fine. I don't know why it's doing that. Are we good now or what? When I switch to other things, it's like super frozen or no? Okay, we should be good now. Yeah, why is it doing that? That is so strange. We're having a good time too. Hold on. Let me figure out why this is happening. And I'll fix it right now. I'll try to fix it. Maybe it's because of this. All right. All right. Let me try to get this going back again. Yeah, this is so weird. It's frozen. All right. I'll fix it in a second. Let me, give me 1 second. I'm going to plug in my internet to a hard wire from the Wi-Fi. I'm going to turn my Wi-Fi off. Hold on. Can we see if this is going to help? Can you hear me? Can you not? Yeah, I see. That is so weird why I'm freezing. I'm good right now? Okay, let's get back to it. Let's put it on. Hear yes, see no. You can hear me? Bro, this is not cool. I don't like it that it does that. Hopefully we're good now. Yeah, it does freeze. I'm watching it happen. But all right.
How did he do that? One of the reasons he did that is because a lot of Hispanics are very Catholic. They're Christian. They're religious. They go to mass a lot. And because their faith, for some of them, their faith
What
is
I'll do is I'll turn my camera off and then on again while we do this.
at the center of their lives, they voted for the candidate who seemed most predisposed to their religious views.
I'll fix it.
Maybe he's not a Christian or a fervent Christian, but he seemed like a man who would protect Christians, Catholic Christians included. And so they voted for him. So a year ago, and every Republican knows this because there's lots of polling on it, because politicians think in terms of coalitions and who's going to vote for me and why. And they know this very well. So a year ago, no Republican would ever get up on TV and say, the thing about Catholics is they're kind of Nazis. But there's Lindsey Graham doing it right there. This is a profound break. And it's a very clear window into what the actual faith is. Israel is the deal killer. Anyone who doesn't support the military aims of the modern Israeli government cannot be part of the mega coalition. And Lindsey Graham has just told us, can't be a Christian.
Let me know. I did a full hardware reset. We should be chilling. All right, we're good. It might freeze. It might not. I don't know. My camera's old, man. It's like freaking 4 years old.
Amazing. But it's not just Lindsey Graham. This is everywhere today, in case you haven't seen it. Here's Patrick Bet David on his podcast a day or two ago. Watch this.
I don't know why Catholics, have this issue with Jews. I don't know what it is. They have this, I don't, listen, I get the Jews have issues with Christians and they'll make fun and they'll say stuff like, oh, your Jesus is going to do, they'll say, well, he was a Jew anyways, right? Yeah. But then Catholics have that issue with Jews. And they act like, they're all innocent and everything. And when you look at Catholics, the amount of centralized power they have. Centralized. If you know what the total Catholic population is worldwide? It's like 1.213 billion. Jews are 15 million.
15 million.
But Jews are decentralized, meaning Jews don't have somebody they listen to that says, hey, you better do this. Catholics, God forbid you say something about the Pope. They're like, hey, man, listen, who is that Pope figure in the Christian community? We don't have one. No. If I ask you right now who's the Pope in the Christian community, you don't have somebody to look at. Who is a witch pastor?
Yeah, exactly.
No, they don't.
We don't have one.
It's an independent network.
It's just the Bible.
So if you look at only Catholics and Muslims have somebody that they look at as their supreme leader, like, you got to go to somebody. But even more, it's Catholic.
Well, there's only two theocracies in the world.
Here, I'll take a quick break to read the super chat. It's been a minute. MSTI6ZP with a $10. Make it. Holla. I appreciate you so much more now. Thanks for sharing your story. I have 11 years just for fun. Check out Iran's Mother Mary subway. You'll quickly realize we live in the third world. Iran's Mother Mary subway. I appreciate you. I will. Same person. Charlie was communicating through email with the guy from the Dean show. He shared his emails after Candace encouraged people. Charlie was communicating through email with the guy from the Dean show. Okay. That's good to know. Yeah. I mean, he was communicating with people on many different levels. You know what I mean? In different ways, however it was for him. Look, I think that when it comes to Charlie, obviously he had his... Look, Charlie was working on a network that's operated by a foreign agent. All right. Salem Media. Now, I talked to Tyler Boyer. I asked him and I said, I called him, we talked, and I'm cool. I talked to Tyler. I don't think he's a bad person. I don't know much. We haven't talked much since the first conversation. I really haven't been desiring to, I've never attacked them. But I talked to him and I asked him about why are they, just so you know, a little side note, why are you guys still operating under the Charlie Kirk brand on podcasts? And he said, well, because it's a business and that's the business company's name and that's the network name that they're running our business on. And he's part owner in that Charlie Kirk show. So, but also when I talk to other people about that idea, but in general, what he's saying is that they think that they're doing good things, like Brad Parscale shilling for Israel and spreading Israel first messaging. And I told Tyler, I said, bro, I think that's interesting. Thank you for sharing that perspective. I never thought of that. I told him I wouldn't say much about our conversation, so I don't want to say too much. But all I want to say is that I did talk to Tyler Boyer, and I do want to invite him on the show, but I'm not sure yet if I should. I don't know if he'll see this or not. But just know, bro, like we're all human. I told him, I said, we're family, man. We're family men. We want to do right by our family, by God. I even told him I'm sorry for your loss. And I want you to know, Tyler, you don't have an enemy in me. I just want to be right. But I did have questions about why they're working with a Zionist network, why they're working with a foreign agent registered chief strategy officer. And to them, they think that's a good thing. They're like, we didn't see anything wrong with that. Well, he said he thinks Brad didn't see anything wrong with that. But he proceeded to tell me that they're not on the news. They don't have a news network. And I said, well, do you have a podcasting network? And he said, yeah, we're still on their network. And that's fine. And I'm not going to attack them for that. I mean, they were already there before, but when you tell me that you're working with a company that has a registered foreign agent as the chief strategy officer and they're working for Israel and they're getting millions of dollars for it, don't you think that's not America first? Like, I didn't go hard at him because I like the guy, actually. I kind of like Tyler Boyer. He's a nice guy. And I don't want him to feel like I'm attacking him, but I also want him to think about the America first agenda here is not what we're seeing. Now, right now, we're seeing a lot worse with them. But let's get through this. I didn't want to make this about that. I just thought I'd mention it. I don't know where it even came from. I think it was from the last super chat. Dean's show is about Islam. Thank you. I'll check that out. Maybe we'll look at after this.
Catholicism,
Islam. I'm sorry, the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Yep.
And the Vatican.
Yeah.
Those are the two major theocracies.
So actually, the Vatican is very much like the Nazi Iranian government, the theocratic government, the mullahs. It's all basically the same. They've got the complicated dress. They hate the Jews, as Patrick Bet-David just said. Catholics have a problem with the Jews. It's slander. It's an attack on the world's largest and oldest Christian denomination, and it's taking place openly. And it's all coming from the same source, which is Israel. The issue is Israel. Anyone who supports the Netanyahu government, not Israel as a concept, not all Jews, no, the Netanyahu government, anyone who ratifies every decision, no matter how violent or grotesque or genocidal of the Netanyahu government, those are the good people. And anyone who doesn't is a Nazi. And by the way, their religion itself is a Nazi religion. It's an inherently anti-Semitic religion. That's what they're telling you out in the open.
What is he talking about?
And the kind of title of the Israel as a concept, not all Jews, no, same source. And it's all coming from the Jews. A problem with the Jews. It's slander. It's an attack on the world's largest and oldest Christian denomination, and it's taking place openly. And it's all coming from the same source.
By the way, I clean my glasses only with these. Can you guys see if I... These right here, they're like 13, 20 bucks, maybe. This is not an advertisement, but if you want me to advertise for you, Maxi Clean, I will. I clean my glasses with this. I don't use my shirt. I'm going to clean them right now. I just figured I'd share because one dankster who watches this show ended up buying them after. I should start selling them, to be honest. But yeah, these things right here, they clean your glasses so well. So I've always bought glasses and they get all scratched and dirty. Ever since I've bought these glasses and used these, they don't get scratched. They stay nice and clean. Like you could see, well, you probably can't see the dirt, but if you have glasses, get the, go on Amazon, like $10, you buy 200 of them.
Which is Israel. The issue is Israel. Anyone who supports the Netanyahu government, not Israel as a concept, not all Jews, no, the Netanyahu government, anyone who ratifies every decision, no matter how violent or grotesque or genocidal of the Netanyahu government, those are the good people. And anyone who doesn't is a Nazi. And by the way, their religion itself is a Nazi religion. It's an inherently anti-Semitic religion. That's what they're telling you out in the open. And the kind of casual dismissal, the mockery, the loathing of the oldest and largest Christian church is just remarkable. Now, again, Trump is someone who, has a lot of problems showing respect to other powerful figures. And it's not just Trump. Most men like Trump are that way. They get along well with women because they're not threatened by women. Woman's probably not trying to kill you and become king. They're kind of loyal. But other men, every other man to a certain male personality type is a potential threat. That's why kings kill their sons. Every man is a potential threat. And so Trump is not on a gut level instinctively respectful of anything or anybody. And that's one of the reasons he was a much needed transformative political figure for so long in the United States, because he was willing to ask questions that most people in Washington had never even thought of out of deference to the existing system. Like, why do we have NATO? Is it really a good idea to offshore manufacturing? Is our immigration actually, our system helping the United States or hurting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? All famously the questions that Trump asked about the way we were doing things were made possible. He was able to ask those things because he doesn't have reflective respect for anybody. Got it. And so when Trump mocks Jesus and the Pope and Christians and tweets out the F word on Easter morning, you're kind of like, well, this is awful, but it's also kind of consistent.
Wow, that's better.
With the Trump we know. This is just Trump turned up to 11. But what's interesting is there are certain circumstances where Trump shows sincere reverence.
Listen to what Tucker just said, though. At the end of the PBD playback, he said that the Catholic Church, the religion itself, is a Nazi religion. The fuck? It's an inherently anti-Semitic religion. Pause on that. Inherently, that word is doing all the work. If something is inherently illegal, you don't debate it, you prosecute it. And that is the exact linguistic pivot that this whole new civic religion runs on. Once a belief system is labeled inherent, I'm going to tell you, once a belief system is labeled inherent, you don't argue it with it anymore. That you spy on it, you criminalize it, you ban it. That's what they do. And Tucker is telling us on tape that the language is being deployed against Catholics right now by PBD, by Lindsey Graham, by the entire apparatus. I don't like banning words, criminalizing words. That's not at all. But I don't think that we should condone any hatred back and forth. However, what is going on is very slick. And what they're doing is they are using, think about the country Israel, right? Let me show you something. Okay. So put a 1 in the chat if you read the Bible, you understand where Israel is and what Canaan is, and let me know. I want to show you something side by side. Reopen it. Put a 1 in the chat. Let me open this image. Okay. Is that good enough? Let me see if I can find a better picture. Oops. All right. This should be good. Maybe one more. Hold on. I want to show you something. Maybe I can open this one. Okay, it's kind of blurry, but you'll see. Okay, so this is Israel. Okay, first right here. Right here is Israel on this. Can you see my cursor? See this right here? This blue cursor? Let's follow it around all the way to the bottom. Go to the right. Okay, this is Israel in green. Now, Canaan, if you follow my cursor down here, is here. Okay, it actually kind of engulfs out into Syria today and down here. So, Canaan is the original land of the Hebrews. I don't know the Bible that well enough to speak on it like a scholar, but I will say this. Israel is what our people called when they believe in God, Lord and Savior of our God. Yahweh is what they say in the Yeshua. I don't know about all that shit. All I know is God. If you believe in God, you are an Israelite, right? I personally believe if you believe in Jesus Christ and the new covenant, you are an Israelite. So I am Israel, okay? I am Israel. You are Israel if you believe in Jesus Christ and you believe in God specifically. Now, what's interesting to me is they don't believe in Jesus Christ, which means they don't believe in the new covenant, which means they aren't even Israelites. Okay? This is my interpretation. I could be wrong, but this is what I think it is. I believe because of the fact they turned their back on God and Jesus, they aren't even Israelites. So they're not even Israel. Okay? So instead of, this is how fucking, I don't know, demonic they are. They took the land of Israel, the land of the people of Israel and the Hebrews, Canaan, which is right here, okay, on the left. They ended up creating a state, our country, and they named it after the persons that's called the believer of God, of the new covenant and the old covenant and the new covenant. So if you name a location Israel, and in the Bible, there are hints that Israel is the land that was gifted to the Israelites by God. And you know that Westerners and most people don't read their Bible or have topics and discussion and debate about what is Israel itself? What is an Israelite? What is Israel? Like, what is it? They know that we don't have this discussion enough to know what the fuck it is. So in 48, they were so conniving that they built a country and they fucking titled it Israel. And then they said, this is the actual land that God gave us. And we are the chosen people that live inside this land. Do you understand how twisted that shit is, guys? Frozen again? Don't tell me that. I don't want to get on this whole thing about being frozen. If it's frozen, let me know, but I'll try to do my best. If it is like that, the problem is they are using it against us on purpose. They are using the ability to know that we are not going to actually study. Thank you, Mad. That we are not going to study enough for the mass populace to know that Israel is actually not that. It's not that. It's not that right there. Israel is not that. You are Israel. I'm Israel. We're Israel. Okay. The segregation of, not to mention, Israel actually has nothing related to God in their constitutional text. They are not a religious country. There's a secular state. They're fake. people that live there, and they're using it. Okay, they're using it against us. They're weaponizing religion.
There are the outlines of an actual religious faith here. And they're not what you would expect. So here, for example, is Donald Trump, the month before the last election, this is October 2024, visiting the grave of a man called Rebbe Schneerson, Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, who he's since passed away, the leader of a large Orthodox sect. He's Eastern European by birth, came with many of his followers to New York, to Brooklyn, and built a very successful, though relatively speaking, very small center of religious thought and political power, actually. He died some years ago. There's the now president standing there. It looks like maybe Ben Shapiro there, Howard Lutnick, wearing a kippah on his head there. As you look at that, ask, is it possible to imagine Donald Trump ever mocking Rebbe Schneerson, who, by the way, and this is kind of the point, is considered by some of his followers to be the Messiah? And to be completely clear, every American is allowed to decide for himself who the Messiah is, so that is not mockery of that belief. I don't personally believe it, but one of the reasons we've been able to live with people of different faiths in this country for 250 years is we don't mock other people's religious faith unless you're absolutely forced to, unless you're trying to make me attend your religious rituals or bow down before a God I don't consider God. Unless it comes to that, we kind of let each other have our own religious views. And that has worked. That's changing very, very fast, however. But ask yourself, can you imagine Donald Trump sending out a meme mocking Rebbe Schneerson? And of course, under no circumstances could you imagine that, because under no circumstances would that ever happen. Trump would not be allowed to do that, and Trump would never even consider doing it. But sending out multiple images mocking Jesus, no problem at all. So that gives you a more precise sense of what our civic religion actually is. A civic religion, by the way, is not a conventional religion. Civic religion is a series of customs, some enshrined.
This is the kind of a kill shot. That's interesting. It's kind of a kill shot if you think about it. It's a kill shot, really, that they're not going to play on mainstream media. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Sorry. I just got a collaboration. We've got a video. It looks like Brandy dropped the video. So Siciliani, I think is her name. Siciliani. You guys need to go watch this video afterwards. I'll pin it in the chat. So it's me, Elizabeth Lane, and Brandy from Billy and Brandy. I think she's doing her own thing now. Tyler Robinson court hearing with Elizabeth Lane and Brandy. I'll give you the link. I want you guys all to go follow her. Go follow her. I'm going to put the link in the chat. She needs some love. There's 500 people watching here on YouTube alone. She just started her new channel. Okay. And this is Brandy. And I'll subscribe if I'm subscribed already. So go check out the work. Brandy, thank you for a great show. Keep it up. And I'm gonna watch this later. Well, yeah, I'll probably watch it later. But go give a like, give a follow, say what's up. She's gonna be doing work weekly. They're actually together in Utah. Elizabeth Lane, if you don't know her, you got to go check her out. Go to Elizabeth Lane as well. They're in the, you can click subscribe and you'll see when you go to that. I just subscribed to the video as a collaborator, so you can go to my collaborations and find it. But yeah, we had a great talk. They're actually at the court, at the event. And so we talked about it. It was a great show. So definitely go check out what they have to say and give her some love. She's coming off of the old show. All right.
Law, not all.
Oh, I was gonna say, what they were talking, the kill shot. Tucker, I think let me see, did he put up? Yeah, he put up footage of Trump at the in October 2024, standing in reverent silence at the grave of Rabbi Menachem Schneerson. Which there's like all these guys, these people that go to this rabbi guy. You guys, The rabbis, they identify themselves as the light of God. Like they are basically as powerful as God, as I understand it. What's funny is Trump is actually Jewish. He's a Jew. So Trump does not post a meme of himself as Schneerson. He does not tweet praise Allah on the anniversary of Schneerson's death. Tucker's question is devastatingly simple. Why can this man mock Jesus openly, mock the Pope openly, mock Catholics openly, but cannot even imagine mocking Schneerson? Why? Thanks for subscribing over to her. She'll be happy, I'm sure. I'm going to pin that post that I just put up. So if you guys want to find it, I'll have it pinned in case you want to go watch it after. But yeah, I mean, you know, nobody talks about that. Why can't he mock Jesus? Praise Allah, praise be Allah. We're going to bomb the shit out of you guys and kill everybody. Praise Allah. Oh, I'm Jesus. Oh, I'm just a doctor. I'm healing the sick. Public mockery of Jesus and his public reverence at Schneerson's grave can tell you everything you need to know. He's wearing a fucking yarmulke, bro. You guys want to have fun with this picture right here? Oh, look, it's Ben Shapiro, bro. I didn't even see this. We're gonna create this. Turn this image into a video of them partying at this location, throwing their yarmulkes. I don't even know how to spell it. Drinking champagne, pouring one out for the homies rabbi burial site. Let's see if Grok will let us get freaking freaky. Is it gonna do it? It's gonna be a picture. Will it give us a video? I might lag, so don't freak out. Okay. Can we I gotta here, hold on. We're gonna hold on. This isn't all right. We need to do something here. Give me 1 second. I gotta fuck with this a little bit. We go to Grok. We're gonna have a little bit of fun real quick. Okay. All right, let's go to this right here. Imagine. Can we do that? Verify I'm human. All right, I'm gonna play it. I just don't. I had some photos, some Grok produced, not safe for streaming, and I didn't want it to show up. Okay, let's see what we get. Okay, hold on. Have Trump pouring champagne with his yarmulke to the side, kind of like Snoop Dogg, and put Tupac there with Ben Shapiro and the homies pouring out the champagne in celebration, not popping bottles, but pouring one for the homie. Okay. Let's see how good we can get here. I just had to, I'm fucking around. Yarmulke. I'm sorry that I don't know how to spell it, my guy, but thank you. Thank you for subbing to both of them. They're both wonderful ladies. We'll get back to the point of the video in a second. I just want to see what the fuck, what we can, how much we can get Grok to bend to our will. Oh, what? Pouring one for the homies, bro. Yeah, he's pouring it. Oh, snap.
A dignified homie. Respect, my brother. Facts. A dignified tribute.
Hey.
We're pouring one out for the homie. Respect, my brother. Facts. A dignified tribute.
Hey.
We're pouring one out for the homie.
I got it. We got it. Wow. Should we go a little harder? Say we are doing this for our megas. And then they all chant mega, mega, mega. Let's see if we get, how fucking far can we take this shit? My megas. It's definitely gonna lag, so don't talk shit if it's lagging. Grok is using my internet right now. Oh, use my voice over? All right, hold on. Oh shit. Oh shit. The voice thing. This is gonna, should we? Hold on.
Okay, hold on. Do I sound like we're about to party with my megas? We are pouring one for the homies.
We are doing this for our migas. Miga, miga, miga.
Oh,
We are
goodness. Oh, my goodness. This is too good. This is too good. Very good. Beautiful people, beautiful, beautiful people. We're pouring it up for the homies. My megas. I'm going to post this shit right now. Post. Trump pouring this out for his megas. Pouring for his niggas. What is going on with him today? All right, I'm going to share this. You guys want this? Here. Here, I'll put it in the chat.
We are doing this for our migas. Miga, miga, miga. We are doing this for our migas. Miga, miga, miga.
Hopefully I don't get taken down. My YouTube doesn't know if... Oh, I forgot that I had the voice mod on. What do I sound like? Oh, I don't sound crazy. What do I sound? Oh, yeah. I forgot it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot I sound like that. Should we go the rest of the show with this audio like this? Pouring one out for my megas. YouTube, I'm not using the slandering African American. I'm not. I'm using the word that Trump is using. Myself, Trump, the big, beautiful guy, Trump. I'm the one using that. Yeah, I know. It sounds like RFK. It kind of sounds like shit. I'm kind of pissed that I paid $20 for this shit. I'm going to get rid of it.
We should be good. All right, back to it.
We are doing this for our migas.
That is hilarious. All right, back to it. Sorry, I had to have a little fun. My bad. That's how we do, man. That's how we do on the Danksters. You know what I mean?
Kippa on his head. As you look at that, ask, is it possible to imagine Donald Trump ever mocking Rebbe Schneerson, who, by the way, and this is kind of the point, is considered by some of his followers to be the Messiah? And to be completely clear, every American is allowed to decide for himself who the Messiah is, so that is not mockery of that belief. I don't personally believe it, but one of the reasons we've been able to live with people of different faiths in this country for 250 years is we don't mock other people's religious faith unless we're absolutely...
Repost this. I'm going to share it. Trump and his MAGAs. I'll put it in the chat again. Share that shit. How many shares we got? Can we see? Are we live? Oh, yeah. We got some shares. 4 shares. It's like 1,000 people watching. Come on, guys. We got to make this go viral. Trump pouring for his my guys. Come on, peoples. Come on, peoples. Oh, am I stepping into when is well, all right, let's get back to the business.
Forced to, unless you're trying to make me attend your religious rituals or bow down before a God I don't consider God. Unless it comes to that, we kind of let each other have our own religious views. And that has worked. That's changing very, very fast, however. But ask yourself, can you imagine Donald Trump sending out a meme mocking Rebbe Schneerson? And of course, under no circumstances could you imagine that, because under no circumstances would that ever happen. Trump would not be allowed to do that, and Trump would never even consider doing it. But sending out multiple images mocking Jesus, no problem at all. So that gives you a more precise sense of what our civic religion actually is.
I could send it to you. I'll send it to you right now, Mad. I'll send it to you on. You don't have to screen record it. I'll send it to you right now. You'll have the file.
A civic religion, by the way, is not a conventional religion. A civic religion is a series of customs, some enshrined in law, not all, that a society, civilization, and its government observe. And it doesn't necessarily mean there's a God at the center of it. That's why it's a civic religion rather than a conventional religion.
We are doing this
but
for our
civic religion is, if you, again, takes 3 steps back and just assess the country with the eyes of a visitor, a modern Tocqueville, you can see it really clearly. What are the events? Who are the people who we treat with reverence? What are you actually not allowed to make fun of? What is blasphemy in modern America? Those are the questions you ask if you are trying to understand what our operative religion is. What's the religion of our leaders? Again, it's not a conventional religion necessarily. It's not Torah Judaism or Rabbinic Judaism or evangelical Christianity or Catholic Christianity. It's the actual religion. The real.
I know we're having fun here, but Tucker right here, he's talking about this is actually very important, because I want everyone to know like what is happening here. So he starts getting into introducing civic religion, which I think is interesting. Every government has one. Every civilization actually has one. America used to be the civil rights. It used to be, I guess you could say, civil rights grounded in Christian universalism. Every soul equal before God. Rights flow from the Creator, not the state. That was kind of our civic religion. That is what the Bill of Rights actually protects. And Tucker is telling us on his show that we are watching the transition live in real time from one civic religion to another. The old one said you can think anything and speak pretty much everything for the most part, unless it doesn't harm somebody. The new one says some thoughts are crimes. Okay. Some perceptions are illegal. And the guardian of those laws are not church. It is a foreign policy addressed up, a foreign policy agenda that's dressed up in a religious language. And you're not being paranoid if you feel something has shifted in the last few years. Something has. And Tucker names it. Let me start from the 32-minute mark here.
That's why it's a civic religion rather than that a society, civilization, and its government observe. And it doesn't necessarily mean there's a God at the center of it. That's why it's a civic religion rather than a conventional religion. But our civic religion is, if you, again, takes 3 steps back and just assess the country with the eyes of a visitor, a modern Tocqueville, you can see it really clearly. What are the events? Who are the people who we treat with reverence? What are you actually not allowed to make fun of? What is blasphemy in modern America? Those are the questions you ask if you are trying to understand what our operative religion is. What's the religion of our leaders? Again, it's not a conventional religion necessarily. It's not Torah Judaism or Rabbinic Judaism or evangelical Christianity or Catholic Christianity. It's the actual religion, the real religion, the set of beliefs that we treat with reverence. Well, it just so happens there was a religious ceremony ongoing today in the United States Capitol, complete with very recognizable religious iconography, symbolism. You may not even have known this was happening, but it was happening today.
This is super important. You got to pay attention.
Part of an 8-day celebration of remembrance.
And I'm mostly telling myself that, actually. I need to pay attention.
But it was happening today as part of an 8-day celebration of remembrance of the Holocaust, the period in the 1930s and 40s where the German government, the Nazi government, murdered, in addition to a lot of other people, a whole bunch of Jews. And that ended in part because the United States sent troops to Europe, millions of troops to Europe, to defeat the German government. And with the help of the Soviets, our allies at the time, we did that. And in the process of doing that, over 250,000 Americans, American men, were killed trying to stop the Nazi government from doing the evil things that it was doing. 250,000, more than, American men died fighting the Nazis. But in today's ceremony in the Congress, there was no mention of them. There was instead this. Watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, a museum leadership program has included more than 72,000 U.S. military members. Through examination of the Holocaust, they gained insight into their own professional and individual responsibilities. The candlelighters are members of the United States Army 3rd Infantry Regiment, the Old Guard.
I am Sergeant Ethan Ottman. I remember.
That is a current uniformed U.S. military member from the Old Guard, the 3rd Infantry Regiment, which is ever present at our public events in Washington, lighting a candle at the menorah and saying, I remember. No explanation of, I remember. Remember what? What are we remembering here? And we do have a sense that we're not remembering the American soldiers who liberated Dachau, for example. We're not remembering the 250,000 American men who joined a war they had nothing to do with inherently. It wasn't taking place in North America, it was taking place in Europe. And the dispute was over Poland and Czechoslovakia. And they sacrificed their lives to defeat the Nazi government that was murdering Jews and a lot of other people, Poles and Russians and Gypsies and Czechs and lots of people, a lot of Jews as well. But they gave their lives to stop that. But we're not remembering them. We're remembering only the victims of one specific ethnicity during these 8 days of remembrance, as distinct from the Day of Remembrance that we also have, that's also enshrined in American law, in January.
Tucker is going hard here. He's going hard here. YouTube, I am not Tucker. I am not saying that I'm commentating. Just so you know, you don't have to rip me from the air today, please, or ever. I am only talking over commentating. That's it. So understand.
So there's a total of 9 days of remembrance of one group of victims in a war that killed tens of millions of people globally, tens and tens and tens of millions. The numbers are actually not even clear. So many people died. We're not exactly sure how many died, but many tens of millions died, including close to 500,000 Americans, over 250,000 in Europe fighting this Nazi regime, not remembered. So that is not to disrespect the Jewish victims of the Holocaust or the Second World War. Of course not. Merely to note that in this country, only one group gets to be remembered, and remembered with grave solemnity by uniformed members of our military who take no credit for ending this Holocaust. So that doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you didn't know the backstory in any of this and someone wrote that down and told you, you'd be like, well, what? That doesn't, what? And it almost seems like there's a kind of guilt implied in this which is a little weird. There are countries where, that might be appropriate. This is not one of them because, again, this was the country that helped liberate people from those camps and fought the government that built those camps. We're the good guys. What is this? It doesn't make any sense except when you see it in the only terms in which it makes sense, which is as a civic religion, which is what it is. And it comes complete with blasphemy laws.
This is the moment in the video that is going to make people uncomfortable, right? This is what makes people uncomfortable. This is exactly why I sit with it. I will go and sit and talk about it. Tucker playing this footage of a United States Army sergeant in full uniform from the 3rd Infantry Regiment, the Old Guard, standing at a menorah of all things. I'll show you here, right? Standing at a menorah, okay, and lighting a candle. Okay, this is, think about this, the Old Guard, the American Regiment, 3rd Infantry, standing at a menorah in the United States Capitol complex, lighting a candle saying, quote, I remember. And Tucker's question is the only question that matters. Remember what? Because nobody in that ceremony mentioned the 250,000 American men who died in Europe in that stopping the Nazi regime. Nobody mentioned the people being liberated by American infantry. Nobody mentioned the American Catholics, American Protestants, American Jews who shipped off to Europe and never came home. A uniformed American soldier in the United States off to Europe and never came home. A uniformed American soldier in the United States Capitol is being used as a ceremonial prop in a remembrance that erases American sacrifice. 9 days on the American federal calendar are reserved for one group of victims in a war where tens of millions died. Not one federal day of remembrance for the Americans who stopped the killing. That is not remembrance. The people that died for it, that is replacement. A uniformed soldier, American soldier, is being used as a prop in remembrance that erases American sacrifice. And that's disgusting. I don't care what anybody thinks about what I say there. I don't like it.
The religion that can't be mocked. So clearly that's not Christianity. I'm Jesus today. No, I didn't do that. Oh, he's your God. Okay, I'll send a meme out with me posing as your God with a demon over my shoulders. Nothing you can do about it. I'm not even going to explain what that was. I don't need to because I don't care about your faith at all. But there are certain things that are blasphemy. And at the very top of that list is something called anti-Semitism.
We're not mad enough. You're right. They are going to keep doing it and rubbing it in our face over and over and over again. We don't say enough. We don't speak out enough.
Now, what exactly is anti-Semitism? It's one of those crimes it's a true crime in the United States, and actual anti-Semitism, hating people because of their blood, is a crime. Certainly, in Christianity, that is a crime. That is wrong. You're not allowed to do that. But that is a universal crime. It applies to all people. Whites, blacks, Asians, Jews, everybody has a right to be treated as an individual because everyone was created by God as an individual. That's the Christian understanding.
Absolutely.
It's a universalist understanding of rights. And that's the old civic religion we had. The civic religion of civil rights. Now, there was a civil rights movement, which was, fraudulent. Maybe at its core, maybe its aims were not advertised honestly. Maybe there was another point to that. Just possible. But conceptually, it's kind of hard to argue with the fact that the assumptions behind civil rights are Christian assumptions. They're Western assumptions. They're the assumptions upon which our whole civilization is built. And the core assumption is that standards, rules apply to everyone because every human being possesses a soul given to him by God at creation, which is not an act that men brought about, but that only God can bring about. God creates life. He endows each human being with a soul. That soul is...
Amen. I got to run that back.
That men brought about, but that only God can bring about. God creates life. He endows each human being with a soul. That soul is eternal. Therefore, each individual possesses rights granted him by God, not government, And a good government protects those rights. And in so doing, upholds God's law. That's Western civilization right there. And in a kind of diluted, silly way, the civil rights movement was upholding those ideas. The term civil rights, the term human rights reflect that understanding. The rights apply to you because you're a human, as they do all human beings. But that's over. That civic religion has died. And we know that. It's probably been dying for a long time. Identity politics is a refutation of that. The idea that some groups have more rights than others, that's the opposite of civil rights. That's the opposite of human rights. Those aren't human rights, those are group rights.
Preach.
They apply to certain groups. One bloodline is superior to another bloodline. Well, that's not.
Wow. He just landed the hammer. And most of the audience is going to miss what he's saying if you don't call it out. Not our audience, we're catching it, but most people watching and listening, they're just listening. Hopefully people are taking his message seriously. He said after World War II, the lesson drilled into every American classroom for 50 years and still today, that the Nazis were evil because they judged people by their bloodline. Judging people by blood was the sin. We stopped the Nazis from doing that. That was the whole point of civil rights. Every individual has rights granted by God. That was the whole point, not by group membership, but by God. Then he said, you wake up in 2026 and our closest ally is using our weapons to displace people and kill them because of how they and where and how they were born and their bloodline. And not only is that okay, the only real crime is complaining about it. Think about that. Listen to that. The exact sin we fought a world war to stop is now the official policy we are funding, protecting, and criminalizing the criticism of. The lesson of the 20th century has been inverted in our lifetime, and most Americans haven't even noticed it. In fact, they support it. Tucker just made them notice. I hope you notice.
What we thought we were for, that's the opposite of what we thought we were for. All of a sudden you wake up and you realize not only are we for it, the government's for it. And that's why they're able to arrest people, not who commit genocide, but people who complain about genocide. Some of us thought stupidly, like the cattle we are, that the real lessons of World War II were every person has inalienable rights. That's what we were taught. That was a pretty common understanding in, say, the 1970s and 80s. Nazis are bad because they redlined one group and said these people don't have the same rights as everyone else by virtue of their blood. And they were really interested in eugenics. And they were interested in people's bloodline. Who are you related to? We're going to find out if you're a secret Jew. Well, that's disgusting. We used to say that's Nazi behavior.
It doesn't go for any, it should not be targeted. Nobody should be targeted at all. It doesn't matter, you know. We should have good. We should be good. We should be grateful. We should be loving. But isolating one specific subsect of people and protecting or not protecting, none of it is okay. Because that takes away all of our right to be free and to be like us. When you take away the dignity of other people to prop up the dignity of others.
Behavior. And then the next thing you know, every other federal form you get asks you what your race is. And you're thinking, well, why does that matter? I thought you told me it didn't matter. I thought you told me it was evil to care about that. But you wake up in 2026 and our closest ally is using our weapons to kill and displace people because of how they were born. And not only is that okay, the only real crime is complaining about it. Well, that tells you, it tells you a lot of things, but it tells you we've got a whole new set of rules. We have a whole new civic religion. And that civic religion, once again, is called Israelism. And it means that any criticism of Israel is by definition bad, and any praise of Israel is by definition virtuous, because the only truly good thing is Israel. And we know that by the actual definition, and there is one, of anti-Semitism. So what is anti-Semitism? And if you've been called it, or if someone's ever implied it, you have a problem with the Jews. You're kind of obsessed with the Jews. Say people who are completely obsessed with the Jews. You probably wonder, like, what are they accusing me of? Well, here it is. This is the IHRA, International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, IHRA. You may hear this. The IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. Do you know what it is? It's on their website. It's worth looking at. Spent the morning reading it. Fascinating. So here's the actual definition of anti-Semitism. And by the way, this is a now globally recognized definition enshrined in law around the world in more than 40 countries. This is the definition, and I'm quoting. Anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews, which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Huh? So anti-Semitism is a perception. It's a feeling. Okay. I thought you allowed to have any feeling or perception you wanted. You could look at facts and come to any conclusion you wanted. No.
Before that, let's take a look. Who are Semitic people? Okay. Semitic people are speakers of Semitic languages. So Semitics are those that speak Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic, ancient groups like Babylonians, Assyrians, Aramaeans, Phoenicians, Canaanites, the Middle East, North Africa, Africans, dark tone skin, light skin, doesn't matter. Basically people that live in this area. Okay. Here. Let's go to this. This right here. Let's open this image. So it's this right here. I'm pretty sure. It's like all up in here. Okay. I think it's pretty much anybody down from south of Egypt, and it kind of spreads all around the Middle East, right? So Arabs, traditionally speakers of Hebrew, okay? Hebrew Jews, all right? Ethiopians. Now, the thing is, though, it is not for a particular race or religion. The term Semitic does not describe a single genetic or group, but rather refers to groups sharing a linguistic heritage, a verbal heritage. Anti-Semitism was coined in the late 1800s specifically to mean prejudice against Jews rather than prejudice against all Semitic speaking people. Okay, let's ask AI this question. Why would they change the word why would they change Semitism to only make it about Jewish people when they make the word anti-Semitic? The term anti-Semitism was specifically designed to exclude other Semitic groups because it was created as a political, scientific label for the hatred of Jews, rather than a broad description of all Semitic speaking people. The word was popularized in 1879 by Wilhelm Marr, a German journalist who wanted to replace the older religious-sounding term Judenhass, Jew hatred, with something that sounded more modern, a scientific theory. Why the term focuses only on Jews? The narrowing of the term happened for several key historical reasons. A scientific facade in the 19th century, Marr and the other race theorists wanted to frame their hatred as a rational, racial conflict rather than an old religious prejudice. By using Semitic, a term borrowed from linguistics, they could claim Jews were a separate, inferior race. So they literally created the word to make themselves appear inferior in a context that was a scientific test, an experiment, linguistic misnomer. Scholars often point out that anti-Semitism is a misnomer. It does not mean opposition to Semitic things. In literal, linguistic sense. It is a term that has always, since its creation, referred exclusively to the hatred of Jews. To avoid the false implication that Semitism is a real racial category, many modern organizations, including the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance and the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, advocate for spelling it as one word, anti-Semitism. Was this created as a trick or a test to get people to identify in a subsect of hatred for Jews? I am curious where it got its power. The shift from the broad linguistic meaning of Semitism to the specific target of Jews was not a mistake or a test, but rather a strategic branding choice designed to give an old hatred a modern scientific credibility. The word gained its power because it's transformed a centuries-old religious prejudice into a political and biological ideology that appealed to the enlightened thinkers of the 19th century. Why it only targeted Jews was a major political debate. While Arabs and other groups are linguistically Semitic, they were not present in Germany and were not part of the political landscape. So anyways, as you can see, like they're using loops of mind games to get this word through. And it is literally, it means Jew hatred. Like that's what it means, Jew hate. But now that word has lost its value, right? I actually did let me find this thing that I can show you. I created a graph. So let me see. Let me find this chat. You'll be interested to see. It should show up. 10 months ago here. Was it? Let me see if it's in this graph right here. Let me find this graph. I got to show you this. There's a graph that I created that shows the rise and fall of the word racist, anti-Semitism. See if I can find it. It's actually very interesting. Let me pull all of the if I can find the word. What? Racism? Come on, bro. You're going to tell me you can't find that in here? Here, I'm going to find it right now. 1 second. I remember this. It was like a week, 2 weeks ago. Members only might be in here. Let me see. Open. Let me open this. I want to find that chat. I wish I could. But it was a graph that I found that I made. Maybe there's a design graph. Let me pull it up. I want to show you. What is this? Whatever. I guess I can't find it. I thought I could. Artifacts. If I could search and find it, but I don't think it's going to show up in the artifacts. It was a graph. It was a really good one too. I hate that I'm losing it for you guys, but oh well, whatever. I'll look for it and I'll find it.
Oh, no. Certain perceptions are inherently immoral. They're, quote, anti-Semitic, which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Oh, so you don't have to hate the Jews to be anti-Semitic? No. Well, that answers the question for those of us who don't hate Jews at all. How could you be anti-Semitic if you don't hate Jews? Well, you can be, according to the official definition of it. Continuing the quote, rhetorical, meaning talking, words, speech, formerly protected no longer, rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed toward Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property toward Jewish community institutions and religious facilities. Wait a second. So anti-Semitism is not necessarily hatred of Jews, and it can be expressed toward non-Jews. So you don't have to hate Jews, and you don't have to express or have these perceptions, these feelings toward Jews. You can be non-Jews too. What is this? Well, the people who wrote it at the IHRA probably anticipated this would be confusing to you. So they gave 11 examples of what anti-Semitism is, just so you know. Like, how do I know if I'm being anti-Semitic? Well, here are 11 examples. Of those 11 examples, and we did the math, 2/3 are criticism of Israel, the state of Israel, the nation, with the prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi. Criticism of Israel in 2/3 of the examples that the IHRA gave, that's anti-Semitism, including, here we go, drawing comparisons of contemporary Israeli policy to that of the Nazis. Oh, in other words, if you think what's happening in Gaza is genocide, well, Nazis committed genocide. Now the state of Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, meaning they're trying to eliminate people on the basis of their blood. You are an anti-Semite. Oh, okay. You're an anti-Semite if you think that. It also tells us that the suggestion that Jews killed Jesus is, quote, classic anti-Semitism.
Dude, how crazy is that? How crazy. They've taken pride in that. Everything that they're telling us is the opposite. It's so wild, dude.
Classic anti-Semitism. So there goes the New Testament. The whole New Testament is anti-Semitic too. Read the Gospels and see if they fall under that definition. They do. Why does this matter? Well, because about 40 U.S. states and the District of Columbia and our biggest cities, Miami, Los Angeles, have adopted this. This is their standard that they voted on and adopted. It's in the law. This standard. The one that tells you that criticism of the secular state of Israel or portions of the New Testament are, quote, anti-Semitism. The government of almost 40 states in the United States, I think 39 states, 40 countries around the world, but not just countries, NGOs, sports teams, the British Soccer League, Chelsea United, all of them have adopted this standard. Now, why would a sports team adopt this standard? Well, who knows why? Think about it for a minute. Why? Why would you declare something illegal? Oh, because you want to punish people who violate it. That's why. This happened today. Ukraine, that beacon of democracy and freedom that we've sent hundreds of billions of dollars to, just made it law today that anti-Semitism, in other words, criticism of Israel, is a felony punishable by up to 8 years in prison. 8 years in prison. How could a rational person understand that? Well, a rational person could not understand that. Why would a citizen of one country be sent to prison for criticizing the leadership of another country, a country not his own? Why would a citizen of one country be sent to prison for having opinions about historical events that he did not participate in and that were almost a century ago? Does that make any sense? No, except in religious terms. Those are blasphemy laws, same as the old blasphemy laws. And for all the talk of how the mullahs are bad, the mullahs are bad. Well, the mullahs probably are bad. I'm not defending the mullahs, but why are we told the mullahs are bad? The mullahs are bad because they're religious extremists. They have blasphemy laws. They'll hurt you if you say certain things. Okay. Well, that looks a lot like what we're seeing here. Almost 40 states. Now, it's interesting. The president has been, all of a sudden, it makes sense. This may be the Rosetta Stone that helps us interpret events we're watching now that are very confusing. And those would include the president advocating for re-upping FISA. Now, FISA, without getting too boring about it, is the law, which has to be voted on periodically by Congress, that allows the U.S. government to spy on Americans, to spy on them. Now, the whole point of it is supposed to be to spy on foreigners who are threatening us, but the nature of the technology being what it is, there are cases where...
I mean, he is really... I'll let him finish this part right here.
Pick up communications from Americans, and in order to make that legal, we need this thing called FISA. Now, what's interesting...
FISA is... Do you know... Put a F in the chat if you do. Do you know what it is? Just let me know in the chat. Do you know what FISA is? Yes or no? Like, this is important. Like, FISA is super important to understand.
Technology being what it is, there are cases where we pick up communications from Americans, and in order to make that legal, we need this thing called FISA.
Okay. FISA is the actual ability for them to use surveillance against Americans or to spy on us. This is the same thing Comey used against Trump. And Trump made a post, social FISA. And I'll give you some context. Yeah, here it is. Actually, I might show you something from here. Let's do this. We'll go to Jimmy Dore because he put a piece on it. He explains it perfectly. You need to know that. I'm happy to move to this section. I know a lot of people left to go see Barron, like half, but I didn't want to stop. I think it's important that we're on a roll here, and I want to share some of this. Let me show you what he said about FISA and what this means. Let me see here. FISA, FISA. Is it this one? 6 days ago. Is it before or after? I think it might be this one. Let me see. No,
I spoke yesterday.
This isn't it, is it? Let me see. Let me find that post. Jimmy Dore, Trump, FISA. Here we go. Here it is. So important. I mean, this is everybody needs to know. I stopped Tucker because he brought a really good point that I think everyone needs to see. We need to see this. Okay. Please watch this.
I have spoken with many in our military who say FISA is necessary in order to protect our troops overseas, as well as our people here at home. Yeah, the best way to protect you is take away your rights and have the government spy on you unconstitutionally. Donald Trump is maybe the biggest douchebag in the history of douchebags. So here's another complete Trump flip-flop. This is, again...
It is so crazy, my guy. This is the most insane thing. I can't believe Trump flip-flopped like this. He was being spied on illegally. And he's condoning it now. I mean, he's gone opposite on every single thing possible. I just can't believe it.
The greatest con job of any campaign in presidential history was Donald Trump. And so you know what the FISA is? So FISA is when the government can spy on you without a real warrant, right? So that's what is FISA even? It stands for Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, I'm pretty sure. So if the FBI they want to tap your phone or spy on you, they go to this special court where you're not allowed to know about it and you're not allowed to present a defense. And so basically it's just a rubber stamp that if they want to spy on you, meaning tap your phone, go into your email, whatever they want, they can do it. Right. So it's called FISA. And Trump used to be 100% against this because they used it against him. And not only do they do this, but the FBI got caught lying 17 times to the FISA court during Russiagate. And who said that? The Inspector General said that they lied. So Donald Trump was against this when it was used against him, right? So here's what he used to say. Kill FISA. It was illegally used against me and many others. They spied on my campaign. And they did, and he was right about that. But now he's flipped, and now he's for FISA, and they're going to renew FISA. And here's what Owen Schroyer, formerly of InfoWars, said. Trump 2 years ago ran on Kill FISA, the illegal spying that is very unpopular. Today, Trump is urging Congress to pass FISA, which he ran against and continues to illegally spy on Americans. So it's it's against the Constitution, right? So you know the Constitution doesn't really mean much because they just pass laws that contradict it, and nobody ever says anything. Here's what Donald Trump is saying about. Do I need to read you this whole thing? You think? Should I read this?
This is the part where he goes back on everything he's
this is him going back. He goes, I am working very hard with our great speaker, Mike Johnson, along with Chairman Jim Jordan and Chairman Rick Crawford to get a clean extension of FISA 702 through the House of Representatives this week. There's nothing clean about it. That there's a clean extension. Not clean.
Let's hear about James Comey, who was not arrested or charged with anything that he's going to fucking try.
It's like they all want to attack. Trump's like, oh, we're going to drain the swamp, and we're going to get rid of Comey, and we're going to put Hillary in jail. And all these people, they attacked him. They sued him. They took him to court. He lost money. He spent money, had to do all of these things. They shot him in the ear. I mean, whatever this was. And like, no retaliatory, nothing. What kind of message does that send? It sends a message that they can spy on me, the president. They can shoot me. They can talk shit on me. They can slander me. They can bomb my friends' Tesla companies. They can throw stones, and we're not going to throw back. We're not going to stop. We're not going to say anything. In fact, we're going to enable them. We're going to give them more power. It's devastating. Devastating. Anyways.
I am asking Republicans to unify and vote together on the test vote to bring a clean bill to the floor. We need to stick together when this bill comes before the House Rules Committee today and keep it clean. When the dirty cop, James Comey, the failed head of the FBI, went after me, he was using FISA Title I, the domestic collection, not FISA 702, the foreign collection, which needs to be extended today. While parts of FISA were illegally and unfortunately used against me in the...
Look, while FISA was used against me, look, he's admitting it was used against him. While parts of FISA were illegally and unfortunately used against me in the Democrats' disgraceful witch hunt.
Democrats' disgraceful witch hunt and attack in the Russia hoax, and perhaps would be used against me in the future, I'm willing to risk giving up my rights and privileges as a citizen for our great military and country. Our military
Kind of shit, excuse me, is that? The guy, dude. The guy is just, it's so cringe. It's so terrible.
Patriots desperately need FISA 702, and it's one of the reasons we have had. I can't wait to see what Tim Pool has to say about how he spins this into something that it isn't.
We have had a lot of success militarily.
Nothing protects our troops more than removing all the constitutional freedom from their families back at home.
So they're fighting for taking away my freedoms, is what he just said.
I have spoken with.
Thank you, heroes.
I have spoken with many in our military who say FISA is necessary in order to protect our troops overseas, as well as our people here at home. Yeah, the best way to protect you is take away your rights and have the government spy on you unconstitutionally. Donald Trump is maybe the biggest douchebag in the history of douchebags. Glenn,
I mean, that's unreal.
I will say, I want to let you all know that if you want to see me, I'm going to be going to see Jimmy in Burbank. Okay, so if you're in the LA area or whatever, if you're in the Southern California area, he's going to be in Burbank on May 8th, and I'm going to go see him. I invited Jesse on Fire. He said he might be in town. So I'm going to go see Jimmy Dore live. I might see if I can send him a DM and go hang out with him. Maybe. I don't know if he'll be open to that, but he definitely follows me and he likes my stuff all the time. So, but yeah, if you want to see, come say what's up. I think I'm going to end the stream here. I'm kind of tired and hungry, and like 30% of the people, 30% of the people are left. Baron ate up the atmosphere, but it's okay. I want to go watch Baron too. But yes, listen, I love all of you. I want to say one thing. I want to say something important. Okay. Before I let you go, I want you to sit with what we just watched, because this was not a normal stream. And let me see how many people voted in the poll. So you had fun with me today. There's how many votes? 114 votes. That's good enough. So are you having fun with me today? Do you like this format? 82% yes. 11% said more often, multiple times a week. So you like the rant, you like this style, which I am happy to do. So 93% said yes. That's great. Some people said not at all. Who said not at all? 3%? Is that like 2 votes? That's like 5 votes. Damn, you don't like this? What do you not like about it? I'm trying to figure out what happened. Fucking haters. What did they? Maybe they didn't like this.
Doing this for our migas. Miga, miga, miga. We are doing this for our migas.
Maybe that's what sealed the deal. I don't know. It could have been that, perhaps. Does this have any views? Oh yeah, it's got 363 views. That was great. So I'm going to say something before we get off here. Okay. Patrick Bet-David and Tucker Carlson, two men with massive platforms, two men who have sat across from each other at Tucker's house. These men who used to be on the same side are now in the clearest window we have into, they are fighting each other, but they are also the clearest window that we have into the fight that is going to define the next few years, maybe decades of American politics. On one side, you have Patrick Bet-David, a man who told you on camera that AIPAC has his number, that the Vatican is basically Iran, and that the audit should start with Tucker's wife, their bank account. A man who has stacked multiple identities in 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 90 seconds to inoculate himself against criticism down the road. Forward thinker. On the other side, you have Tucker, a man who just read you the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism in his own voice, walked you through a state-by-state legal takeover, showed you a U.S. Army sergeant being used as a ceremonial prop in remembrance that erased American sacrifice, and told you on the record that a chairman of the House of Intelligence Committee is saying that they're justifying spying on American college students because they were upset about dead children in Gaza. And then he named that machine by its actual name, Israelism, America's new civic religion. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I tell you what I believe and what I love and what I think is great about this country and so on and so forth and about life. But the receipts are there. You've got 40 states that have adopted this IHRA definition. Go look it up. Do it. Don't take my word for it. The receipts are there. Ukraine passed an 8-year prison sentence for the wrong perception of a foreign country. That's real. Okay? That's real. Every one of these things we talk about is available for you to see for free online with nothing but a search bar and 30 minutes of your evening or day or whatever of your time in your lunch break. So what I believe is, and I'll say it once, every major political commentator with millions of subscribers and 7 figures in annual revenue should submit to public financial disclosure. Every single one should, but I don't think they have to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that that's a requirement. I'm open to it. I'd be down if there was like a pool of money that did it and people paid for it. It was like a public thing and you could enter and you get a badge on your like not funded and then there's a check every once in a while. Bro, that'd be sick. I would be all open for that. But I don't believe, I'm totally down with that. I think that every single one should do it. Do they require to? No. But I think it'd be dope, like our own little blue check mark. You know, our red and white and blue check mark instead of our blue and white. That would be a great transparency. In fact, they should be required to, anybody should be required, if you are taking money on a foreign government or any foreign interest, I think it should be required that you disclose that to your audience. I do. But I don't think that it should be weaponized the way that it's being done by PBD. I don't like the gaslighting. I don't like the egotistical, braggadocious style deliverance of the way he conveyed his message. And all you have to do is watch the way people act, talk, how they want to say good things. They want to act like they're doing something good for the people, and how they convey their message, and you will know what they actually think about themselves. PBD showed himself, showed his ass, bro. I'm a millionaire, bro. I got you by the balls. Like, I am the man. I believe in Jesus, but I believe that Muslims are the worst thing to America, but I have friends that are Muslims. It's like, bro, you showed your ass, dude. You don't know what the fuck is going on. PBD, take a lane. Okay, take a lane. But be America first. And America first doesn't mean hate Islam. Yeah, radicals took over Islam in Iran because of the CIA allowing them to do so. And it got out of control. What do you expect? But Muslims, Christians, even Jews, they're not bad people. A lot of them are not. Most are not, actually. 99% are not. I have my opinions on certain things on each one. And I definitely don't jive with the Jewish religion at all. Not even a little bit, except for the Old Testament, maybe. I haven't read their version of it. If there is anything different, I heard it's the same. I don't care. I believe that God is my God. I believe that I am chosen by God to deliver his message and to help save other people that have lived a life that's harsh. I've lived the harshest life. And when you watch somebody like PBD who has had a harsh life, he did. He'd made a lot of money, did really well for himself. Comes from a rough background. Coming from Iran is not easy. My dad did it. Came on a horse, camel and horse and shit, all the way from when he was 15 by himself. Escaped Iran in 1981. 15 years old. Rode on a horseback through the mountains of Iran to Turkey, had to sell cigarettes and matches in Turkey to get to Spain, and waited for 2 years to get his visa to come to the United States. When he was 15, he didn't get here until he was 17. So I understand. I've been told the stories. I know what the stories are. Okay. My dad is a millionaire now. He's frugal and he's humble, at least. Doesn't even talk about it. I only know because I know. I've seen things. I've seen the money. But I don't get any of it. I don't have anything from him. We don't even talk. But PBD, you're using your money as a sling and arrow. And that's not what God asked you to do, bro. You have a platform for a reason. And I personally feel that you've lost that tether. You say you believe in Jesus Christ. You say you have God has changed your life. Yeah, maybe. I believe you. But one thing I don't believe is that you are tethered. Because if you were, you would not be speaking this way, my guy. So I will challenge you. I don't know if you'll see this. You probably will never. I have your number, bro. I can send Mario a text right now and send him a clip. I'm not going to. But Mario, if you see this, share with him. Tell him, get right with God, bro, because you're not sharing the message. You're not doing what you're supposed to do, dude. That's not what you're supposed to do. You don't sling around hundreds of millions of dollars while trying to say you're doing something good by exposing the financial backside of somebody else. Okay? I get it. Views, clicks, whatever. Come on, man. You're already 9 figures, 10 figures, 12 figures deep, whatever it is. All right? So with that being said, let me see if there's any other supers or anything. What's up, O-Rain? Welcome, new member. Become a member for 99 cents. You can join members only Fridays. We go tough. It's 30% more if you're buying on the iPhone store. So buy in a browser so you don't have to pay $1.50. Or you can join for $5, patreon.com/danks, original Dankster. So welcome. Meet us on Fridays. What do we got? Anything else? Oh, yeah. What's up, Pete? Good to see you, bro. Thanks for the super chat. So, yeah, it's the best deal for $1. It's the best deal you get. Apple tax is anti-Semitic. Man, I'm so glad you guys stuck around. I purposefully stuck around when I knew Barron was going to go live to see. Do you guys want to see how much it was affected? Here, let me show you. You can see the effect. So this is my live stream chart right here. So this shows my settings and all that. And this is the views. So it shows like how many views are currently happening right now. So at the peak, we were at 508, and we were at like we were at like 400 to 500 the whole time. And then at 250, Barron started going live at 3 o'clock, and then now we're hey, but I'm grateful for Barron. So I have no issues with that. I'm glad to see Barron. He's doing great. He paves the way. And we need men like him to continue speaking and doing well for us. So I love you all. God bless you. Keep your head above water and on a swivel. And look, we can only do so much, but I promise you, if you connect and if you ask, you will get it. But you got to stay connected. I'll see you in the next one. I'm glad I came live today. I have no idea what got into me, but I'm glad that it went the way it did. All right. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right. All right. Love you guys. Peace.